Get me in the critical nips.
Critical nicks? Crusade podcast. We're back at it again. The Hope We Don't Lose Power edition. EJ Olson is here with Nick Durheim.
Hi.
And Chris Gilly-Forer.
Yay.
We're so good at intros. And Brendan Allen making another return. He's just a regular at this point. Put him on the logo.
I'm glad I didn't lose power for this. I was very bummed yesterday.
Yeah, it must have been a long 20 hours without power.
I don't remember it much.
Yeah, the Pacific Northwest is currently experiencing a lot of ice, and we're all snowed in / iced in. I got flickering lights right now. I've turned off most of the lights in my room just so that I'm not distracted by the flickering, and we hope that we don't lose power. I am on my laptop, however, so if I lose power, I'm going to keep recording, and I'm going to hotspot to my phone, and then we're right back into it.
We're right back in.
Contingencies. Love it.
If Bren loses power, we're just continuing on without him. We will wave as you float off into the distance.
That is how my heart will go on.
We're recording late today so that Chris could watch football. He's even got his jersey on, but the football game got canceled also because of inclement weather.
Indeed. I will say that this is a jersey for this evening's game. This is a Detroit Lions jersey in the postseason for the first time in forever, and actually has a very solid team with their former quarterback coming to town with the Rams. So yeah, the Bills game getting pushed. I was like, oh, we could move it up, but last night was closing night for the show, and I knew we were going to have to strike real quick and then go out and have some shenanigans, and then go back to some cast members' place to have after shenanigans. We got home at like 3, so I was like, no, I'm not moving this bitch up. I'm going to sleep in. I'm going to have a nice, easy morning. It's been beautiful.
There you go. How did the show go? You guys just did a couple, right, this week?
Yeah, there were 3 shows, 3-show run, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It was lovely. Not going to go all the way down this. I talk about this at length on Instagram this week, but a source of no small insecurity for me. But I felt really good about it, and had a lot of students and colleagues come out that meant a lot to me. Mom and Nana, shout out Mom and Nana, came out from Oregon, saw a couple of shows, and then headed back. And did get their flight into Portland. It did not get canceled. They stopped at Denver. That didn't get canceled. They got it to Portland. That didn't
fly
get
Alaska then?
No, they flew Southwest. But then
don't tell me that I'm flying Alaska next week. Don't tell me that.
No, you're gonna be fine. Ice will be gone. You're gonna be fine. But Joey, who was house sitting, could not get out of the cul-de-sac in Fairview, so they got stuck and had to get a hotel right by the airport last night. But they did get home. They got home, which, you know, they weren't really sure was going to happen. So it's been a great run, man. We out here tackling insecurities and fears. We out here trying to be our best selves, coming into our own, starting to believe that maybe everybody's not lying to me when they say nice things about my singing, and maybe they're actually being truthful and my brain is the one that's lying to me, you know, shit like that.
You know what I love? Imposter syndrome.
Oh,
Or do you?
Very good, man. That's exciting. You sent me a couple of clips of one of the rehearsals, and I was like, ooh, my boy's getting it out here. You also posted a clip of you singing karaoke.
yeah, it was me doing Piano Man.
Brendan, you're thawed out now. Your house is no longer 45 degrees. You have power, and you're here with us. Did you end up breaking out the old Steam Deck last night, or did you just...
Yeah, I did. I played some Binding of Isaac last night, you know, per usual.
Go figure.
Of course.
Like on 250 hours of that game since
Let's check the
January.
Steam logs here.
Just a little cozy comfort game to get me through the night. I've been playing Blasphemous 2. Really good game. Very competent Metroidvania. I tried playing the first one and I just could not get into it. A lot clunkier. But the combat in Blasphemous 2 is much improved. I like it. I'm like on the final boss. It's pretty hard. Some of the bosses can be hard, but...
What's its Open Critic score? That's really all I care about when it comes to games anymore.
I think it was like an 84, 85 in that range.
Yeah, it was decent. I feel like one of us picked that up when it came out, but I could be remembering wrong.
I considered it for the main league, but then I waffled on it and ended up getting distracted at work one day and never picked it up like the week before it came out. But Would have been a good one. I'm still waiting for the physical copy to get a sale, and then I'm gonna hop on that and pop it on the shelf and play it eventually, because I do have a pretty strong list of Metroidvanias that I need to get through, and this is up there.
Nick, you haven't lost power.
No power loss. Just been hunkered down anyway. There's something about it just being really cold outside. I mean, it doesn't really change anything for me on the indoors, but it feels more cozy to get warm and to just settle in on the couch and play some video games. So been doing that. Been playing Hades. Finally escaped for the first time.
Yeah, buddy. He
Nice,
coming,
nice.
buddy.
What was your weapon of choice?
I just always went with whatever gave me the extra % boost on the dark crystals or whatever.
Oh, his main is random. I love it.
So, I mean, it's fine. It's very dependent on whether you get a deadless hammer, whether you actually feel successful in that game. So a lot of that RNG is kind of frustrating. There's no way to increase your odds of getting a deadless hammer, I don't think. But I never found any of the boons to be like that much better than any of the others. They're all just kind of like, oh, here's a thing that happens when you dash. That's good. Like, I generally want to have a dash thing because dashing is good in this game. It turns out having invincibility frames in an action like RPG tinted roguelike is very beneficial. So anything that gives you some DPS on dodge is a huge bonus. And then, yeah, I think I ended up winning with shield, and I'm like currently just about to fight Hades again with fists. So I don't know if I'll even like come back to it to do any more of the stuff. I feel like after escaping once or twice, I'm like, I kind of get it, and like any of the story stuff is not really intriguing to me to be like that's like the hook. So it's just like, okay, yes, I know a lot of Greek mythology, so like that's cool. It's a cool vibe. The music's great. The art is okay. People talk about some games looking like Flash games. This looks literally like a Flash game. So it's like not visually very appealing to me. The artwork for the characters is really good, but that's just like a still image. So it's not like super interesting beyond that. But I understand why people really love this game, because it's like, what if we made a roguelike, but we made it like a regular game also? So it's like, it sort of gets the best of both worlds in that aspect. So this game feels like the perfect onboarding onto other roguelikes that are more interesting mechanically.
Man, I'm so glad that you sunk some time into this game finally after my rabbit hole last year. Yeah, dude, there are definitely, beyond just story, there are definitely some more carrots that can keep drawing you forward. Like, I don't know if you've gotten any of the hidden aspects for the different weapons yet, but those all offer like really unique like pros and cons for all of the different weapons. And you were just talking about like you're going to give the fists a go. Like, fists off on fuck so hard. I absolutely love that. And once you get the the aspect of Gilgamesh on those that just lets you like maim, I think is the name of the status effect, that they take delayed damage, but in the interim you could potentially take increased damage. So it just becomes, you also get 4 dashes. So you're literally just like flying around everywhere, like maiming the shit out of people with your dash attack. And yeah, give it a few more. Give it a few more escapes.
Yeah, I've unlocked maim on certain runs where I think that's like one of the duo abilities that you get, one of the duo boons that you get. I'm not sure where it popped up, but it sounds familiar. And yeah, getting the late Demeter stuff is like, okay, so it's just another DPS thing. But it's not really doing too much for me. It's the runs are way too long, I think, to be satisfying to have like that growth each run. So I think I ended up escaping after 18 or 20 attempts. So I'm not like going too quickly or anything, but the runs are really long. Like my winning run was like 45 minutes, and it didn't feel like super satisfying to break out and then walk really slowly for a while and meet Persephone and then just like go back to it, because obviously you got to go back to it because it's a roguelike. But it's a really good game. It's just like I'm not super enamored with it, I guess.
How many times have I said this on the podcast? Maybe I'll try that this weekend.
I think you would really like Hades, EJ. You would really like Hades.
Come on, man. That's a future Console Crusade Top 100 game without question.
I know.
Gotta do
I
it.
know.
Gotta do it.
I do own it. I do own it. Well, this is the beautiful thing about the weather doing what it's doing, is it just makes you want to cozy in and play shit. I even downloaded the Prince of Persia demo yesterday because we woke up real early yesterday, settled into my office where we had a view of the snow falling, put on some music. Unfortunately, it was the horrendous sports playlist in our music league.
Hey, at least you got some Vince Guaraldi trio at the end there.
We did. Shout out to Sarah who submitted that one. And I did not know that was a good ass pick. I thought it was you, Nick. The music league we are going to talk about because we did do a video game week and it was a great fucking playlist. So maybe we'll talk about that in the future. Maybe we'll do our own little, who knows. Anyway, I did download the Prince of Persia demo and tried that. We can talk about that maybe a little bit later when we do the Fantasy Critic, just a brief catch up after, but only a week. And then after that, we're going to do some critical hits trivia, which is going to be interesting this week. So we got a lot to talk about. Before we jump too much into that and more of what we've been playing, because I know there's definitely more, do a little holiday wrap up. I know we briefly mentioned last week that Chris, you flew into town and we all got together and hung out for a couple days. We were going to do our draft live, but then I got sick, so plans changed. But we got to spend 2 days just doing nothing, literally just hanging out, mostly in our underwear, Chris's chest hair poking out, the whole 9 yards. So that's all I did during the break was hang out with you guys. And then I was sick. Sarah was gone, so I did nothing. Christmas got canceled because my mom was sick, and then I got sick, so I didn't do jack diddly squat, but hang out with you guys, and it was really nice. But Chris, you had quite the journey over here for the holidays.
Oh yeah, it was a decent amount of time on paper, like 10 days we got in, and I didn't want to do any no overnight stops, you know what I mean? That if I was going to visit like a family member, it was going to be we're there for at least one night so that I feel like I got good time. I don't feel like I'm rushing. So we did 2 days with my dad and Sandra up in Granite Falls. We drove down, did a couple nights with Tiffany's family in Forest Grove, which was really lovely. And then a night with my grandma and grandpa in Corvallis, who I hadn't seen in a little bit. And that was really, really nice to see them. Getting down to the last couple of grandparents, it's kind of like, damn, I really need to make sure that I get out there and spend the time. You know what I mean? And then it was off to Eugene, man. Oh, man. And then, family time, done. Check Rooney, dunzo. Excellent. And then it was out to Eugene, and EJ Pied Piper that he was, never pushy about it, never obnoxious or mopey or anything. It was like, you could just, we just make this 2 nights. We can make this 2 nights. I'm like, no, I got to get back. Like I'm staying with a buddy in St. John's, and I don't want to get off track with all that other stuff that I have planned. And then, my buddy Zach, who I was going to see, he wakes up sick, so I wouldn't be able to see him. Galen's like, yeah, man, come over Saturday. And I'm like, shit, we staying in Eugene for 2 nights, baby. Like, we're running it back. And we had a great time. Yeah, nothing is the perfect descriptor. And goddamn, I needed a few days amidst all this family where you have to be on all the time to just post up with the dudes and watch Nick play fucking Skull Island Rise of Kong. And we've all got our analogs out. We're all playing Dragon Ball Z Legendary Super Warriors, EJ
Top 100
Top 100 title, gifting us wonderful condition carts of that game. We got the analogs going, got the Switch going. I'm playing Pokemon Scarlet, just trying to blast through some of the end game stuff, and it was great. Oh, and hanging with Waffle, my fucking god cat. I don't
Greatest
care
cat
if
ever.
someone else has been bequeathed that title. I'm taking it. It's mine. That is my god cat. I fucking love Waffle. That is my favorite the cat of all the cats that I don't own. That is my favorite cat. I own a lot of cats.
She's a sassy little sweetheart, and she just wants to be loved. And you guys showed her much affection, and she was sad when everybody left. Sarah was gone, and it was just me. We just looked at each other, and I said, well, time to be sad for the next 24 hours, cat. You and me both. I unfortunately, the morning you guys got there, I woke up with not a sore throat. When you're getting sick and you're like, uh-oh, I have a sore throat, It was more like I had snored really bad the night before. It was like someone had punched me in the throat, and that went away after a few hours. By the time you guys got there, I was feeling fine. I was I think I even mentioned oh man, I was snoring really bad. I slept like shit. And then the next morning I woke up with a scratchy throat again. I was like, uh-oh. And then I started sneezing a lot. which of course you guys had to sit within mere feet of me. So I was trying to sneeze to my left and into a pillow to not spread any of my goobers. But I was sneezing so fucking much. And by 3:00 that day, I was like, guys, I'm getting sick. I'm sneezy and snotty. What is going on? And I was like, I'm so sorry. And then I was like, I'm really glad you guys got here before I started getting sick. Otherwise, I would have blamed you and otherwise would have canceled this. So either option sounds bad. So I'm glad it happened the way it did. And neither of you guys got sick, which is awesome. I fell off a cliff the day after you guys left. I had a fever and green stuff in my lungs, and it was pretty miserable. The cough didn't get terrible. I tested for COVID multiple times, no COVID. It was just a little cold. But it went away within like 6 days. I was like all good, which never happens for me. Never. I get sick, and it's like a 3-week affair, and I'm allergic to cold medicine. I say cold medicine. I'm allergic to acetaminophen, so most cold medicines. And so you just suffer through it. So anyway, that was nice. But just hunkering down and feeling like crap and not having the pressure to like, we have to go do shit. Like, now the boys are here. We're just chilling. We're watching some stuff on TV. We're playing some games. We rotated the television. Like you said, fucking Nick is playing Kong, Rise of Kong, Skull Island or whatever. I started Portal, which was a fun little hour. Haven't gone back to it, but maybe I will because I have a feeling that's not going anywhere in the top 100. You know, we cooked a little bit. We went out for breakfast. It was good. It was just a nice, relaxing time. Chris put in the fucking hours with Dragon Ball Z Legendary Super Warriors on the Game Boy Color. Nick put in the minutes and quit, which seems to be his MO when doing anything that I like other than this podcast.
Hey, I beat Piccolo. That took me about an hour. That's an hour I'll never get back.
I've started the Goob rubric. I've started my GOOB on Legendary Super Warriors. Like, we're diving on this game sometime in the next couple weeks. It's happening.
90% of it will be the obnoxious category.
There's a lot of obnoxious, but not a lot of bad.
That's generous.
Wow.
Sorry, there's a lot of B on my ledger.
That's so unfortunate.
But a fair amount of G. A fair amount of G.
It's a good game. We called Brennan that second day after we had sort of put together this plan for y'all to stay another night, and we tried to get him to come down. And he just didn't call us back. Felt pretty bad. So your punishment is sitting here listening to us talk while you watch us, Bren. You're not allowed to respond. No talking for you. Before I asked Bren about his holiday and what he was playing and what he was doing over the break, Nick, you put in so many hours into Skull Island. You beat the fucking game. Now, tell me, why were you playing this game again? Could you just remind the people? Why?
I received as a both combination Christmas gift and trophy for my success in the Whammy League / the Console Crusade podcast Fantasy Critic League.
The double whammy. You
the
won
double whammy.
Both leagues.
I received a minty case with the boy himself, Golem, holding up Mary Kate and Ashley's Winner's Circle.
Deep
and
lore.
inside, pizza reveal, and also a copy of Skull Island: Rise of Kong, one of the lowest reviewed games of 2023.
Listen, we concepted the art much sooner than the end of the actual leagues because we knew you were going to win. And so we had this whole plan to give you a copy of Gollum on the Switch, and Gollum's on the cover, wistfully longing for Mary Kate and Ashley Winner's Circle. And there's a couple other references on the back, just some fun little goofy Console Crusade tidbits for you. But then
Deep
Gollum
lore.
gets delayed. The company shuts down. It's probably never coming to Switch. So we had to pivot. And instead of you getting the game that won you the Whammy League, one of the games, we had to go
one
with
of many.
the Great White Whale, the one you missed out on, and that was the worst game of the year, Rise of Kong, Skull Island. Did I get it right? Is that the right
Rise
name?
of Skull, Kong Island.
Shit.
You know, it's some combination of those
Rise
words.
of
Nobody
Island,
actually knows
Skull
for sure.
Kong.
Skull Kong. Bro, Skull Kong would be sick. Unlock that as a skin, get a DLC pack. Yo, let's go. No, but yeah, I popped that in on a lark. And you know, it's just one of those weekends, not really actually the weekend. We were there on Thursday and Friday, but that felt like a weekend. It was a long weekend, extended weekend down in Eugene with the boys. Pop that on the TV, occasionally switch over to a Blazer game, and somehow that was even worse than Kong Island.
Yes, it was.
So we went back and I played more Kong, and yeah, that game is pretty bad, but I don't know. I went through and I wrote down some notes as I was playing and as I was finishing it, so I can, in fact, give it a Console Crusade review using the Gubrick.
Yeah! Let's do it. Let's do it right now. We're deep diving.
Skull Island, I have in the good category. It's funny. The cutscenes are pretty funny. There are also funny jank bugs, like the animation's not working, climbing into the ground, especially I remember showing you that, Chris. That was very funny. Another good is the autosaves. Actually pretty generous autosaves. If something goes wrong and you have to like jump back to a different save and fix it, pretty good about that, honestly. It's not like, it doesn't tell you where the autosave is. Like sometimes autosaves will come with like a screenshot, so you have like an idea, like a preview of where you're going to be coming back to. It just has a timestamp, and that's fine. Also, this game is pretty short, and I would say that's good. This was like 6 hours, 7 hours, I want to say.
Mercifully short.
Merciful, totally. I mean, if this was like a long game that dragged on forever, I wouldn't have finished it. I would not be giving it my Gubrick review. In the okay category, I say that the moving and the jumping is okay. Like how you traverse around the map, it's okay. The combat was okay. A little mashy, but the hitboxes weren't broken. Like when you punch someone, you knew that you punched someone. When you got hit, you know that you got hit. Some of that, it's not great. This was okay. And then, hilariously, this game has a skill tree, but mercifully,
so many skills.
Yeah, a lot of skills. Anyway, but you can take them out and reassign them at will. So that was okay. I mean, if you're going to give us a skill tree, don't make it a pain in the ass to interact with it and change things if you want to try something else out. Obnoxious. There's no incentive to fight the enemies unless you're stuck in a combat arena, because the only time you get skill points is when you're in a combat arena. And you also can't leave the arena until you kill everything, so you're literally forced to fight them. So the entire game is you just running past things and getting lost, which is bad. Obnoxious also is the menu UI. It's hard to know where things are, and it's slow. So you're kind of just like, you want to avoid interacting with it as much as possible. Also, the vibration when you're playing in handheld is like just maxed out. There's no nuance to it. So every time you're like in a cutscene or you're just getting punched, it's just like buzzing as loud as possible. And that's pretty obnoxious.
They turned it all the way up to Hitachi for you.
Seriously. Half of this screen
Oh
is
no,
the bads.
that is a lot of bad.
Bad. The sound design. Sometimes there was music. Very often there wasn't. I don't know where it went.
There was supposed to be music.
I think there's supposed to be music. You heard it sometimes. I heard it faintly. And then other times they would like double up. So it would do the thing where you just get like a sound effect that's like layered. So it's like, it's like exploding and peaking. I was worried I was going to damage your sound system, EJ. The performance is bad. On Switch, I assume is probably the worst, but had very strange moments where I think it's like a memory leak or something where the frame rate would get really choppy and slideshow, like down to probably about 5 or 10 FPS. And you could fix that by like loading a previous save and it would kind of like clear the memory and fix it. But the performance in general was pretty bad. The LOD pop in and there's like a shimmer effect. I think it's intentional, but it's really jarring, especially on textured surfaces like Kong's fur has like a ghosting. So like when you're painting the camera very slowly, it would shimmer and sort of ghost behind the animation. It's like a animation trail, but it just looked really bad. The camera is horrendous. There's no settings to change the speed of it, and there's no setting to invert the camera. So this broke my brain for a solid week. I'm still like recovering emotionally and spiritually because I play inverted, which, whatever. But I couldn't choose to do that in this game, so I was like staring at the ground a lot. There's no quick center. The lock-on is really, really bad and would frequently put the camera like behind geometry, so you just couldn't see things. And also, it wouldn't like zoom out. So you're this big gorilla in this game, and you're usually fighting these tiny little like raptors and shit. And you would lock onto them, first mistake, but then you just can't see them, so you have no idea like if they're attacking you or what's happening. I just remembered this also. There's no like distance in which you lose aggro against enemies. So you could be like running around avoiding everyone because there's no reason to fight things. And then you stop for a second and then a cloud of raptors just descends upon you and like hit stuns you to death But that also is good because that's funny. So, it kind of comes out in the wash. The world design is horrendous. There's no good landmarks. The map is broken and does not actually tell you where you are when you open it in the menu. So you're just looking at a map and you're like, this would be great if I knew where I was, but I don't. So this is actually useless trash. And then their way to tell you where to go next is there's a button combo you press and Kong just yells. He just lets out a big roar. And then you kind of look around and you can see some squiggles and like some birds flying away. You're like, okay, that's where I have to go. So you just have like a general direction of where you're supposed to go, but it also doesn't change where you've been. So it's like following a breadcrumb trail, but the breadcrumbs don't disappear when you're going the right way. So you're like, which way am I going? There's no way to tell. So that added probably an additional 2 hours to my playtime.
Wow.
Honestly.
Okay, this is kind of a broader question, but we talk about some of these bad games. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, especially sort of the way we talked about it before having started the game ourselves, a technological disaster in every way. But once we played it, and Chris, I think you can attest to this, as you start to see the love and the care that a team of people who love Pokemon and want to make a good game, you see what they're doing, what they were able to do with budget constraint, time restraint, tech restraint, whatever it was. And you start to realize that this was a game that suffered because Game Freak won't hire competent modern developers to assist their team of people who have good ideas. They just can't implement them properly, right? And then maybe budget and definitely time, right? Pokemon companies like we got to have a game every year of some kind. And you start to see how those developers who want to make good games, people who care on a base level, and probably aren't happy with how this game turned out and are sad and frustrated that they aren't being allowed to fix it or aren't able to fix it, whatever it might be. So you start to see that underneath all of the 14 frames per second and the pop-in and all these other awful things, the crashes, whatever. A game like Kong Skull Island, do you see any of that? Like, how in the world does this game get made and how is it as bad as it is? Was this a bunch of college kids that got hired at the studio? Was this money laundering? Did they set out to make a bad game as a bit? Like, how does this happen? Are there people underneath all of this that's actually give a shit? Because it doesn't seem like that's possible.
I think the vibes that I get from this game is that it was made by game developers who are game developers and it's their job and they're just doing a job. And they got hired onto a project by a game publisher that is known for putting out schlock. And they were probably told, hey, you've got 12 to 15 months to turn this around. And then they started working on it. And then the game publisher said, psych, do it in 9. And the developer said, okay, I guess here's the best we can do with the time that we have. Like it's totally like the bones are fine. The movement, the combat, the things that probably were done first. And then everything else had to have been a just rush job just to put something out the door because they were contracted out to do this work. Like there's no other way around it. I mean, think of what it is. It is a King Kong game, not based on the movie, based on the book license, because that was what the license they could get. So it's just King Kong running around fighting some dinos. And the ceiling for a game like this is like a 60. And they probably could have gotten a 60 if they had 3 or 4 more months to work on this game, but they didn't. There was no money for it. They was not given the time for it. So they put out this bit of a broken mess. And I think this year in particular has been, because the highs have been so high, people are also looking for games to kick. So games like Gollum, games like this, games like Rocket City, where it's like, it's fun and easy and the audience is there to see a bad game be dunked on. So this game gets more attention and reviews than it normally would have. So I think it's just a combination of factors.
I love that you will forever associate the worst reviewed game that you have ever played with Chris and I. What do you give it? What's the official Console Crusade score for Rise of Kong Skull Island?
I would say, so since we still don't have, we have our goob, we have our rubric. We don't have a metric as far as how we associate numbers to the things that we're talking about.
Sure.
So I'm waffling between a 3 and a 4 because I don't think it's a complete waste of my time. I don't feel like I wasted my time playing this game. It's been entertaining, if nothing else, just to talk about it with you guys. And I think that there is a category of player out there that it would do them some good to play something this bad just to know how good they have it with everything else. You know, like if you only eat gourmet meals, you're not going to truly be able to understand how good it is unless you eat some fucking McDonald's now and then. And this is like day old McDonald's and you're hungry. If you're hungry, eat it. You know, it's fine.
Eat it!
So 4. I say 4.
That fell from your initial thoughts that when we had left Eugene, you were thinking probably around a 5. You're like, I don't think this is what's its review average? Like a 40 something?
It's like a 30 something.
It's like
So I
a
don't think
20 something. It depends where you look, I guess. Metacritic, it's a 20 something. Like it is really bad.
But you had thought that was harsh.
And it is a bit harsh. Like I didn't actually have any crashes playing this game.
Wow.
I think that impacts my score and my impression of it. There was a lot of tedium, but I don't think it was actively. I didn't feel slighted by playing this game. You know, like like I was not being emotionally damaged. It's just not a good game.
Can you say that Iguana Bee spent more time patching Kong Skull Island than Game Freak has Pokemon Scarlet and Violet?
I'm not sure because I don't know if there's been any patches since the game came out.
The fact that you had 0 crashes is sort of telling. Feel like you didn't escape that by sheer luck. They must have done something to correct something in this game.
I'm also really good at getting out of bad situations with games, like reload a previous save. Like that's not a crash. Like I was just I was soft locked. You know, I had a couple soft locks where I was in a combat arena and one of the like enemies I had to kill either didn't spawn or spawned on the wrong side of geometry, so I was just stuck there. But I reloaded and that was fine.
Yeah.
And I also ended up I watched a long play just to see where I could go because there's no guess what? There's not a lot of guides for this game, so if I was stuck, I just sort of had to figure it out. I ended up watching a bit of a long play to see like figure out where to go next, and I realized that I skipped an entire boss. So I guess this game's a soft Metroidvania. Nobody actually told me that.
Bro, you're working on speedrun strats.
Yo, the strats. If this game ever gets played on speedrun, I would like to watch at least 10 minutes of that.
I can't say it was fun watching you play this, but it was entertaining hanging out with you while you were entertained by what was a middling bit in giving you this game and joking that you had to beat it, and then you actually fucking did, which made it a great bit.
Nick brought receipts. This is why he's the 2-time champ.
That's right.
I had nothing better to do. What else could I play? Pokemon or Dragon Ball Z? I mean, it was clearly my best option.
Wow.
So I had a great time watching you play Kong, where I'd look up and you're just like Michael Jackson moonwalking across the texture because you finished climbing and the climbing animation didn't stop, or you like Donkey Kong Country overworld walking in place. I had a great fucking time, and I do want to goob the Scarlet and Violet EJ, so we should maybe think about that as something for next week, and I'll compile some notes.
I'm working my way through that too. Took a little break to play some Hades, but I will probably finish Scarlet and Violet at some point in the next couple of weeks. I'll keep you updated.
I'll be right back. Nature is calling, and I always answer.
Absolutely, brother. This happened to me in the middle of a game of Warzone today because we got up and played like morning games because everyone had no power yesterday, so the itch was there. I got up, made some coffee, sat down, got into a game. Everybody gets killed except for me, or maybe I googe back, and I'm like looking for cash to buy everyone back, and I buy the last person back, and I'm like, I started drinking coffee right away this morning, so I have to go. And so I had to just abandon the sticks in the middle of a match while Bob and Brennan guarded my body.
What, you sipping on decaf over there, bud?
Just decaf.
Nice.
We walked a couple miles to the Market of Choice down the way yesterday in the snow and the ice because when the weather gets like this, I just want a warm, cozy drink. So we walked down and got ourselves a bag of Pete's Decaf. The decaf offerings, Sarah warned me were going to be dire, which seems crazy to me. Like, people drink decaf coffee. There were 3 brands. One was local, and I was told by a buddy who knows his coffee, don't even think about buying that bag of coffee. And then Pete's. And what's that organic company, like Wild something with the green label? I can't remember. Anyway, it was pretty dire. But not me with the French press, with my bag of decaf Pete's medium roast. Come on now.
So you just drank coffee for the flavor?
Yeah, I don't want fucking caffeine. I just want a warm, tasty bevy, dude.
Just make yourself a hot chalky.
Well, I didn't have any hot jockey, and that's just pure sugar. I just wanted
You went
some
to the store.
tasty coffee. That's a good point, but I just want some coffee. I just want some
you
coffee.
You get drinking chocolate, EJ. That's the trick. You get the low sugar, highly bitter drinking chocolate. Ooh,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. I did think of you in your chicory blend, and I thought, I could get some half calf and cut that even further with some chicory and make just a tasty, fragrant, low caffeine bevy on this cold winter's day. But I just went with the Pete's decaf, and it was all good. It was tasty.
Yeah, that's fair. There's some really good chicory brews that they mix in a lot of like hazelnut and dried dates and stuff like that. So it sort of turns into like a fruity, nutty, earthy kind of hot drink. Blends really well with like a decaf coffee. I've definitely done that for Lindsay if she's not feeling like having caffeine at the moment.
Very good, very tasty. Anyway, that was your guys' trip to Eugene. It was a nice, relaxing couple of days with the boys. Video games, low pressure, no. It was a rare moment where you guys left after 2 days, and I didn't feel burnt out from being around people. I felt burnt out.
Burnt out from getting sick.
Yeah,
My
And
heart.
I was like, man, I kind of wish they were staying another night. Like normally when people leave, you're like, oh God, thank God. You take your shoes off and you sit on the couch with your balls out, and you're like, thank God I'm alone. You guys
Heard.
left, and I was like, I'll put my balls out if you come back. You know, that kind of thing.
Sadly sitting there with your balls out.
Can we briefly talk about New Year's? There's only two things I want to talk about. I don't want to
Please,
be
yeah,
FOMO.
you guys got together on New Year's. All three
We
of you.
did.
Brendan was there. I was sadly not. Nobody even thought to FaceTime me. Huh.
I did feel really shitty about that. I was like, fuck, we didn't call EJ. I was like, I had every intention of doing that. That I was so fucking hungover.
EJ, literally us every time we tell Chris we'll FaceTime him when we're hanging out. We never do.
I know.
Yeah, also that.
It's payback.
We also got no pictures of all three of us when we were in Eugene, which is par for the course because I don't think about it. I'm present. I'm locked in. I'm like, we're just doing stuff. Anyway, yeah, I got to see Brandon's corporeal form, which was awesome. And we had Brandon the Goob Gustafsson over. Gustafsson. I don't know how to say his last name correctly.
Goob
Sorry,
Stavison.
Brandon. Goob Stavison.
Yeah,
There we go. And it was great, man. It was great. We had a really nice time. The main game related things I want to shout out is that when I dug through all my shit, I was able to find not the shotgun peripheral, but the Wii Zapper, which meant that we did in fact get to play some big buck hunter on the Nintendo Wii. We cabled Nana's Wii up downstairs, sensor bar, everything. I turned it on and we hear that like, and everybody, literally everyone in the living room stopped what they were doing and turned and looked at the television. It was this beautiful moment of, oh my God, like just beautiful, beautiful, nostalgic ASMR for the soul, as Nick put it. But we got bucked. We played the Big Buck Hunter drinking game, and it was a fucking blast. Y'all know now it is a certified hood banger. Just a really well executed port of this arcade game. There's a ton of fun to play with 4 people. And if I had a second zapper or a shotgun, you could do like competitive co-op in the moment, people competing for bucks, trying not to hit dough. Oh man, that was goddamn delightful.
Brendan, can you confirm that Big Buck Hunter is as bucked up as Chris is saying right now?
No, sadly I had to leave early because I worked on New Year's Day, so I had to leave before the buck came out.
Oh, bummer.
Nick, you could tell the man.
Big Buck Hunter is funny.
Got Crusade top 400?
I can't in good conscience say that it's good, but it was definitely entertaining and certainly even better when you're passing the sticks when the sticks are a shotgun.
Who said good?
Or a Wii Zapper.
Who said good? When have I said good? I said entertaining.
true.
I said it's a blast.
It is very entertaining.
That game's a blast.
It is a blast. I want to play the two player at the same time mode because that sounds like also stupid fun. Because we were just doing literally each round is very brief. It's like 30 seconds of bucks. And you got to find the bucks and shoot them, but you can't hit the does. So you gotta really suss out which ones got antlers and which ones don't. And then suddenly a cougar runs by and you're like, oh shit! I mean, you're just getting overwhelmed with the critters. And then at the end, there's a bigger, fancier buck. We were shooting moose. So we were going after moose and cows and avoiding the cows. So there's a white moose at the end that was massive, but it dipped and dodged and zipped around. So you had to really fucking be on top of it. And Chris was just wailing on us because obviously he's been bucked before. And this is me, Drew, and Brandon getting our asses clapped. But it was a good time.
I need to do some advanced drinks prior to playing Big Buck with the boys in the future so I can set a handicap for myself. Because I do want it to be fun for everybody. It's like the person who's like good at Smash and they want it to be fun. They want people to play with them again. And so they just play random every time so that everybody else has fun. I need to do that next time.
Console Crusade vacation when?
Yeah, we had sort of something akin to that last year. We could probably try and set something up this year as well.
2024
beach trip.
The Console Crusade deep lore get together.
Go all stay at Brandon's and go to a spare room that hasn't been furnished yet. We can all
Yeah.
cozy up in there. Get
Well,
a
actually,
bunk bed.
we can put some tents in there.
Yo,
I want to camp, but I don't want to be cold. Dad, can we camp inside?
His house was 48 degrees this morning.
45 degrees.
Brennan,
What?
thanks for sitting through an hour of this, buddy.
Yeah, I'm
How
here.
was your holiday break? Did you do anything? Anything special?
No. Honestly, I mean, holidays this year were kind of just a big bummer. But
yeah.
I did a lot of working. Just keeping busy. We did family Christmas on the 30th. That was good. Good to see everybody. We did Chinese food because
Nice.
that's what my great grandpa used to love to do for Christmas, and so just kind of did that, and yeah, it was a chill time.
Your niece and nephews are getting to the age now where you can start giving them cool gifts.
Yes, I actually did buy them Super Mario Wonder, and we gotta
Nice.
play that.
Have you gotten any reports back? Have they been playing it?
No, I haven't seen them since then, so I'll have to ask them. Yeah.
I
I'm sure
remember
they have.
a few months ago, you were like digging through your garage and you found a bunch of retro games, like a Game Boy and Pokemon games and Wii and GameCube, and you had like some like banger titles in there, including the Zelda bonus disc. But you just were like, I'm giving this all to my nephew.
I ended up giving him the Game Boy Advance SP with Pokemon, Ruby Red, or I don't know.
Yeah, Ruby or Fire Red.
Yeah. And he still plays it. He plays it. He shows me every time I come over. He's like, "Oh, Uncle Bub, look at
Uncle
this."
Bubs, how many badges
Uncle
does he
Bub.
have?
I have no idea.
Oh man, you gotta do some deep diving.
I haven't
Gotta get a
watched him
progress
play
report.
yet. Yeah.
All right, kid, how far you got?
See, what you should have done and what you could do as an incentive for your nephew is to buy a copy to play alongside him, and then you can trade him and be like, dude, I caught you the sickest Pidgey. Level 6, dude.
He loves, dude. You should meet him because you can talk Pokemon with him.
Big Pokemon guy, huh?
Big Pokemon guy. He's got a big book of Pokemon cards, and I know nothing about it. So
Brennan, you play so many fucking video games.
I know.
Why aren't you
but my
playing
mom
Pokemon?
didn't let me play Pokemon. And now that she's a grandma, she doesn't give a fuck.
It's satanic. It's new age. Yeah, Nick, I was like, please let that hit for somebody.
Oh,
New
man.
age.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if this has been brought up on the podcast before, but Nick, you were a year ahead of me in school. We went to North Gresham Elementary School together. Our moms were both on the PTC, the Parent Teacher Council, and your mother, along with what I can only assume was backup from my mother, were the ones on the PTC who, when other parents came and said Pokemon has to go, Harry Potter has to go, they were like, absolutely the fuck not. That is kooky and crazy. This is not demonic. This is kids shit. Shout out to Annette and Cheryl.
Annette
Big shout outs.
Durheim.
Kept them honest, kept them straight,
Yeah.
and we didn't lose any of
Yeah.
the fun stuff.
Pokemon cards were not allowed because there was the risk of people making dumb trades and feeling bad about it. But the games and associated reading materials were encouraged and not banned.
They weren't trying to remove Pokemon and or Harry Potter from the library or the scholastic book fairs for fear of corrupting the impressionable 90s children. Come on. So shout out.
Brennan was not so lucky.
Brennan was not so
Not
lucky.
me.
Not me. Couldn't be me. What did you play as a kid? I know you had a PC. You played a lot of Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, played a lot of dude. My favorite game growing up was like Jazz Jackrabbit 2.
I've never heard of this. Console Crusade
Bethesda Deep
Lore?
Cut.
Wait, what? Jazz? What was that?
Jazz Jackrabbit 2.
Wait, was that Bethesda or was that Cliffy B? I can't remember. It was one of those two things.
Epic Mega Games.
Yeah, Cliffy B.
Composer Alexander Brandon. Guess what else he's done?
I don't know.
It's like a 2D side scroller. You get like gun power ups.
He did Unreal Tournament. He did Vigilante. Almost Console Crusade Top 100. He did Deus Ex.
He did Vigilante 8?
And Vigilante 8 Second Offense.
Not as good.
Not as good. Wow, that's funny. That's crazy when you see some of these like deep. Oh, Jazz Jackrabbit 3 got canceled, Brent. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know.
I'm so sorry.
2002 was a rough year.
I played a lot of Rainbow Six, like the OG Rainbow Six games.
Wait. You couldn't play Pokemon because it was
Yep.
demonic, but you could fucking
You
kill
can fucking
people.
shoot
Let's
people in
go.
the head.
Absolutely.
Christians,
They're bad
man.
guys. They're bad guys.
They're bad guys.
They deserve it.
Oh my god.
I loved the OG Lego Island game.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, we got to deep dive on that game one of these days, Brent. We got to play it just for the fun of it, get a little emulator going. With the pizza guy and the...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Dude, that is so funny.
Backyard baseball.
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
of course. The classics. You can refer to one of our first 5 episodes. Was that 4? Developer Origin Shinfo?
Yeah, talking about humongous entertainment.
Oh, man.
We
Deep
learned a
dive.
lot. We learned a lot in that episode. Nobody else did, but we did.
You know what I didn't do at the top of this episode, like I should have done, was plug the Discord and the socials and the whole thing and be a good host. But we just kind of started talking about games right away. So maybe I should just do it now and then insert clip.
Yo, let's do it.
Oh, insert clip. If you listen to this podcast and you like talking shit to us in real life or on the internet, you can now join our Discord. Go to solo.to/console crusade, and there you can find the join link. You can find our socials. All of our podcasts within the week are going to be up on YouTube. No video yet. We're working on it. I know people have requested it. That's the way of the future with podcasts. We'll see if that becomes a thing. But for those of you, shout out to my boy Jared. Shout out to my asshole brother Andrew. People who are too lazy to just download the free podcast apps. Everything will be on YouTube going forward. So if you're a YouTube music kind of guy, you can find our shit to listen to. Anyway, come say hello. Come talk some smack. We'll be there. Email us if you're a boomer like me. feedback@consolecrusade.com. Anything. Talk shit to us. Ask questions. Say, talk about this thing that I like. And by golly, we'll make Nick play it and he'll talk about it. So
Thanks. Well, you got to buy it for me and then I'll play it. So you'll be out financially, but I'll be out chronically.
it's all for the content, baby. Really quick, before we jump into our critical hits, our trivia. We're only an hour in here, so let's do a quick 7 to 12 minutes on the Fantasy Critic League 2024. We drafted last week. You can go check out that episode 140. It's a good episode. We added another player this year. Brandon Gustavson is a part of the crew. We drafted, 30 games. We've got movement. We all preach patience, and we got movement already. Brennan, you texted me right off the rip when all this happened. You basically said, I'm not going to have any money to bid on games this year because I'm going to spend them all on counter picks.
Legitimately, I thought everything was from Brandon.
Dragon Age Dreadwolf, no date. The most we know about it is they said more information will be revealed in summer 2024. Final Fantasy 16, The Rising Tide. Spring estimated, might show up, might not be good. Penny's Big Breakaway. Yikes. Princess Peach Showtime seems like a good 75 to me. And the Untitled Machine Games Indiana Jones game. We thought Brandon did all of this. We thought we were all about to fill up our fucking counterpick slots.
Turns out Nick's doing something.
Look, it's clear to me. It's clear to me. And I sent Nick a text about it. It was like, sir, bravo, because I think that there is no downside to the move that he just made, given that we're getting information about this game in 4 days. I don't think there's any downside to what Nick just did. And if any of the insider stuff coming out, any of the leaks coming out, this game has a title. It is ready for release this year. It will get a release date at this event.
When did they announce this game?
They haven't announced it. It doesn't exist. We might hear about it next week.
Go right ahead and counterpick it then. But I'm telling you, you're making a big fucking mistake.
Fucking Indiana Jones is a goddamn movie license.
It has been 3 years, almost to the day that it's been announced. January 12th, 2021 is
announced?
When they announced
in
the
an investor meeting. Did this actually get announced?
It got a video. It didn't show any gameplay or anything, but it got a video.
There has been zero gameplay. There has been nothing other than this little teaser.
Yeah, a little whip and a map and a hat.
Nintendo literally does that for all of their releases ever, and we don't bat a fucking eye. But
Bethesda is not Nintendo.
I'm just saying this has been in the oven long enough. And again, there is no downside to Nick picking this up.
If he keeps it and it gets counterpicked, there might be a lot of downside.
Well, he can drop it prior to a counterpick being processed.
That's true. This week,
based on the timing of the showcase is on Thursday, so you could get your counterpick in before the showcase and get stuck with it and not be able to drop it if it gets a 2024 release date. And if it gets a 2025 release date, Nick can drop it immediately and he's off the hook, no consequences. He's renting to own this title. And if you stick with the counterpick even after we get a look at this game, you're going to lose some points. And as much as you want to say, oh, there's no good licensed games, and then you're like, oh, there's no good licensed movie games. We got plenty of games based on IP that are new stories within that universe. You were like, when's the last good licensed game? And I said, Spider-Man 2. And you're like, well, that's not the same. This is based on a movie. And you're like, no, it's not. It's based on an existing IP. Same as Spider-Man. Same as the Arkham games, which were all critical successes.
Or Jedi last year. Brand new game based on existing IP. It may be bad, but we don't know. And I think to say, based on what little information we have, that's a safe counter pick if it comes out this year is foolish. And you are welcome to go right ahead and walk into that wall if you want to, buddy. But I want no part of that. Be Nick's puppet plaything if you wish, but I, sir, will have no part.
Okay, but would we be saying this if this was not Nick's pick? Would we be saying this if it was Brandon's pick?
I would, based on all the information out there.
We have no reason to trust Brandon's picks, but you might have a couple reasons to trust mine. Maybe not my track record for picking games that actually come out in the year that they're supposed to, via last year. But I mean, make that bet.
I am with Brennan.
Nick he's like, he gets one unannounced game that landed last year, and he's like, I'm just gonna go for them all.
Yeah, fuck it.
Why not? Fuck it, we ball.
We don't even have the slot anymore, and he's just like, fuck
we
you.
ball.
Dude, this is a home run counter pick. If it gets a 2024 release date, it's either going to be bad or it's getting delayed. This is a home run, as is Dreadwolf. You insert clip, fucking keep this. Someone write this down. They're not going to shadow drop something, quote unquote, this big. I know Microsoft is fucking desperate.
I don't know if a 9-month marketing cycle is a shadow drop, EJ. And also, when has Microsoft ever had success with shadow dropping a game?
1 hour ago, news breaking that 343 Studios, id Software, and other Microsoft subsidiaries have all been working on the development of this game. I'm just saying. I know I was with you, EJ. I was like, really? I thought for fucking sure that was Brandon and was like, thanks, buddy. I appreciate the counterpick in advance. And then we were confused and we're like, are we the crazy ones? And I'm like, no, this doesn't make any sense. And then looking into it, I woke up this morning and I'm reading some stuff and I'm looking around and I'm like, no, this is a beautiful move on Nick's
You guys
part.
are way too concerned with Nick being good at this game that you're not following your own plums here. This is a good move on Nick's part because if it gets a 2024 release date, he's just going with the studio names and hoping it's going to be good, despite some soft releases from both this studio and this publisher within the calendar year. It's a great move if it gets delayed to 2025. He drops it. It's no harm, no foul. It's just it's interesting. I do not have any faith that this game is actually going to get slated for this year and come out this year. Same with anything else on this list. Nick, Princess Peach is funny. What did Brandon say this morning? He said that's a safe 80 from Nintendo, and I was like, just like Nick's other picks, famously WarioWare and all of the sports games. Like, I think it's a bold move.
This is a Kirby echelon kind of release, which also means that it has a pretty low floor when it comes to Nintendo action games, I guess you could call them. Soft action children's games. But I don't know. I like the stock, EJ.
You know, I like that you're playing a little edgier this year, knowing that everybody was going to ape your strategy from last year and play it safe. And you said, fuck it, I'm going to play fast and loose and see what happens. And you're counting on us to get our dicks twisted over each other. I mean, yesterday, Chris fucking texts all of us, except for Brandon, and says, hey, how are we going to counterpick all of Brandon's games? I, of course, say my New Year's resolution was to not collude with you this year because it cost me the league last year. And Nick saying nothing because this motherfucker bid on half of these games himself. And I texted Bren. I said, don't you fucking dare.
Bren is not your mouthpiece anymore, EJ. So
I'm
you
Bren's
go
mouthpiece,
ahead.
bitch. It's the other way
You
fucking
go
around.
right ahead.
This is where I need like a little puppet hand and just like take it out of my ass and just throw it at the camera.
Yeah.
The lies of E.
Wow.
The record shows that last year, when I contacted all of you, all of the things I said that I would do, I did. Everybody got the things that they wanted.
Same, and it bit me in the ass.
Well, we got the wires twisted on that, but that's not my fucking fault, hombre. Not my fucking fault. Bren got the games he wanted. I backed the fuck off. You got the one you said you bid on. I backed the fuck off. Of course, you make the emergency, the safety bid, just in case. That's just good business. That's just good business sense. But everybody got what they wanted. Put some respect on my name.
The problem is, you tried to betray me, and if Nick had gone for it, you would have done it. That's why I will not collude with you. I don't care how things shape up. I will not be doing business with you unless there is cash and or games involved above board publicly for the world to see.
This is EJ realizing that trades are still a factor and him saying, oh, I really need to pull the ripcord on this in case I need to trade with him later.
I love the fact that you think I'm going to trade with you after that fucking speech that you just made. I love the fact you think I'm going to trade with you.
All right. I hope... Listen, I don't care what happens this year. I hope Nick wins again. Let him go for the fucking three-peat. It's rare. It doesn't happen, Burrito Boy. But if fucking Brandon beats you, Chris, I'm going to feel so good. Oh, it's going to be nice. Because Brandon is speed running last place right now. I love you, Brandon.
He just found the warp whistle straight to last.
We don't need to rehash the draft. But the pickups... are hilarious. Who knows? Final Fantasy could be fine.
The last one wasn't.
No, the last one was awful. It reviewed a 75, and to be fair, it was I played it. It is a very small piece of content, and I think that that's in large part what folks were responding to, that you're like, this is cool, why did I pay $10 for this? Sort of thing, which I felt. It was good. There were good bosses. They give you some like post-game equipment that's tight, but Rising Tide's introducing like the final icon, so there's going to be a more substantive like addition to the overall gameplay. I would like to think it's going to be longer. I don't think it's a safe counter pick just because of how well 16 reviewed, that I would be pretty stunned if it goes as low as Echoes of the Fallen. But it's a weird pickup because that was so bad. Like, I don't know what to make of that. I had that on my watch list as a maybe, but like, I don't think it's worth it.
It really feels like me in the beginning of last year when I just felt the need to get things out, things on the board and get going and didn't know what I was doing.
The thing that is interesting is that he spent $21 picking up 3 games. The Penny game looks awful. And I don't just mean like when I talk about Prince of Persia, I see that game looks shitty, looks like a PS3 game. This game looks bad mechanically, graphically. I don't know who that game is for. It's crazy that it's getting picked up. However, I picked up House Flipper 2 in the Whammy League, and I got a fucking 82 last year. So these things can happen, but this looks like a genuinely bad game.
It makes me nervous because
$21!
It looks bad. It does look really bad, but I know that it's like the Sonic Mania folks like getting their chance to like work with their own IP for the first time. And like, are they going to get a sweetheart bump because of all the goodwill that was accumulated from folks associated with that project? So I'm like, man, and counterpicking indies just makes me so skeevy every fucking time. You just don't know. You just don't know.
It's interesting. Nick's been quiet here. Obviously his machinations are for him and him alone. He doesn't collude. He is above us peons. He likes the stock. That's okay. I have a feeling, Nick, tell me if I'm wrong, that you don't think Brandon is crazy as we're making him out to seem here.
They're not as bad as you're making them out to be. You're tainting your beliefs on the picks based on his draft, which is fair. If Dreadwolf comes out this year, it's going to hit. I don't think it's going to come out this year. Final Fantasy 16 could do, I mean, it's going to do better than the previous one because this is like actually story content. People love the story of the game itself. So if this is like an epilogue to the ending and like adding the final icon, like Chris was saying, then I think it has a much higher floor than the previous DLC. And then what else did he get? I can't.
The Penny's
He got
big.
Penny's Big Breakaway. Collectathon platformers, if they're not made by Nintendo, tend to not perform, with very few exceptions, and the exceptions being like AAA games, like Crash Bandicoot 4, Psychonauts, if you classify that as a platformer. It's not a collectathon, but it's kind of skirting that line. So I don't think there's not a high ceiling for Penny's Big Breakaway. Like if it does really well, it'll be like an 82, and that's like the exact top of its potential. So for like a late, that'd be like a fine late pickup, you know, for $7, get a nice 12. Like rolling the dice on a potential 12 is fine, but like this early first week, it's not a smart pickup.
For those of you who may or may not be invested in Console Crusade's Fantasy Critic League, again, the link to it is at solo.to/Console Crusade. You can find all of our social links there. But if you join the Discord, all of our shit talking for the Fantasy Critic League and all of our discourse between the five of us takes place in the Fantasy Critic thread in the Discord, unless there's some specific collusion happening. But you'll hear about that later if that's the case. Brandon's response will be in that thread, and I'm sure it will just be some combination of his irrational confidence. Well, when we're talking in December, how well I'm the king of the castle.
That's not bad. That's not bad. And it has been popping. The Fantasy Critic thread especially is a absolutely red hot channel over in our Discord. So please come join us.
Y'all have me fucked up this last
I was fully porked
last week,
yesterday.
dude.
Fully porked
Fully
yesterday.
Last bit on Fantasy Critic before we go.
Yes, please.
Prince of Persia. Chris, you hit an 87, and you just couldn't wait to rub that in my face. Mind you, I had that in the 80s on my prediction sheet.
Okay,
and
all right. No.
Week.
You're jumping straight into trying to make yourself sound better than you actually are. You put it on the air last week. You thought it was an 81. You fucking whiffed. It'd be one thing if it's an 83 and you had an 81. I'd be like, Jigstra goddamn Damas, you fucking did it.
No, you wouldn't.
Low-key, I kind of would. It's kind of impressive how many games you hit within like a 3-point window last year. I'm going to be so honest with you.
2-point window. 2-point window.
It's impressive. It honest to God, it really honestly is impressive because I'm not spreadsheet invested in this. I would love to win, but I'm not going that fucking hard. So it is, I admire it for the both of you. I really do. But you fucking missed, dude. 87 is within a hair's breadth of the banger window in our B2B or banger boner ratio. It is knocking on the door of a banger. And you had this in an 81. And I would insert clip you, but I know that you're not going to do it because you have the editing power. So I'm just going to play the clip right now on my phone to put it on the record anyway of what exactly you said last week.
The clip when I said it looks like a shitty PS3 game.
Excuse me. Insert clip.
I could totally eat crow on this. I think Prince of Persia looks fucking awful. And of course, we all thought Benedict Fox looked good. I thought Afterimage looked good. So I don't know how to judge Metroidvania games like this, but I think it looks bad. The animations are janky. The graphics suck. Doesn't mean it can't be a good game. I just think it looks bad. And that is a big deal in the current year. I stand by everything I just said still, after both having played it and it dropping 87. Listen, Rift and Necrodancer, 88. I played the demo. It looks fucking bad. The cutscenes are hilariously bad. For a PS5 game, it's embarrassing. I don't rescind any of those takes. I even said, I don't know how to judge Metroidvanias. It looks bad, but this could hit. Benedict Fox looked better, and it sucked. So I don't know. I don't know how you're trying to get me. That's not a gotcha.
Qualify it as much as you want. You went on and on about this looks terrible and that matters a lot to people in 2024. Well, it fucking
I don't
didn't.
think I said those words. We have to insert the clip again, Chris?
I literally just played the clip
again.
where you said that matters a lot to people. It's on the record. You can't hide. Come out from the shadows. Yes, you did.
Doesn't mean it can't be a good game. I just think it looks bad. And that is a big deal in the current year. It's a big deal to me, Chris. It's a big deal to me.
EJ's going to insert clip himself saying, to me, in episode 140 now.
Yeah, right? Go back. George Lucas, our old fucking podcast. All the Nintendo outlets gave it 9s. All of the normal people who don't have Nintendo's Reggie-sized dong in their mouths all gave it like 7s. So it is quite the spread. It's very interesting.
So anyway, I'm taking my flowers in my fourth round pick.
When this is the highest reviewed game that you have in 2024, I would love to revisit this episode. It'll feel really good. I did play the demo, and I took notes. I'm not goobricking this game because I will not be buying this game. I will not be playing it beyond the demo. I joked in the Discord that this game feels the way Nick says Dead Cells feels. It's a little floaty. It's a little sloppy. It's a little magnety. It doesn't quite... It's definitely a casual combat kind of game, which Dead Cells to me is very much not. I love the range that the main character gets with his melee attacks. I like the amulet system.
There's 2 different range attacks as well.
Right. I found myself like irritated that like sometimes your melee attacks, like, and this is like on the same enemy, right? Sometimes you'll stagger them, so you interrupt whatever animation they're going into to attack you, right? You can just hit stun them basically. And sometimes you don't, and they just attack through whatever melee you're hitting them with. So you can't really accurately read the patterns of what an enemy is doing when you're just hacking and slashing, and the animation is so superfluous. Sometimes you're just getting hit, and you're like, how am I being hit right now? Sometimes it stuns them, and sometimes they're just doing whatever they want through my attack. So it just feels kind of imprecise. But I did overall like the action. I don't give a fuck about Metroidvanias. I hate Metroidvanias. So I will not be playing this. But I'm like, okay, yeah, this is like, seems like a perfectly cromulent action game. Sure.
And this will be, for our listeners, the first Console Crusade review of a new game for 2024. Nick and I are going to pick this up this week at launch and are going to play through it. And you'll get the full Gubrick treatment on Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown sometime in the weeks that follow.
Brennan, are you picking this game up as an action game fan and a Metroidvania fan?
It was not on my radar to pick up.
It's on PS5. Platinum it.
We'll see. I don't have a whole lot of time coming up to play games just because I'm going to be working a lot, and I want to play. I really,
Isaac.
yeah. Actually, no. I really want to play through The Last of Us Part 2 again with the update, and I want to do that. I've been itching to play through that, so it's been 4 years.
Time fucking flies. I remember playing that during the pandemic. All right.
That's got a roguelike mode too.
Yeah. Well, then guess what, guys? I'm not going to ask your opinions on the demo then, because you guys are going to do a full Gubrick review in a couple weeks. So
I will have it on the record that I too did play through the entire demo. I don't know if you actually finished it. It's not very long.
Did you
I had a
like
good
it?
time with it?
You liked it?
Yeah.
Definitely worth full price, you think?
Yeah, it feels like the demo didn't have... It's kind of shoddy in the way it did the tutorialing. Like it seemed like it was picking up not at the beginning, but kind of at the beginning, but it didn't feel right in the way it communicated with you, your moveset and stuff like that. So like I don't think they ever explicitly told you what was like an unblockable attack or unparryable attack and what was the special parries they could do. So like there's like yellow flashes on attacks that you could do like a special parry that does like a kill animation a la like Doom or whatever. And then there are red flash attacks that you cannot block or parry and you just have to dodge past. So that wasn't very clear. But everything else was like totally fine and good. I liked the mobility, the swinging around on stuff is very Prince of Persia, and that was tied doing some platforming challenges with that and the air dodge and like that kind of stuff. It was like, it felt good to play.
Did they fully cancel the Sands of Time remake?
Ubisoft doesn't fully cancel games. They just sort of hope they wither away and people forget about them.
Oh man, I loved that game.
Or in
At
the case
Skull
of
and
something like
Bones.
Skull and Bones, they just drag it out for a decade.
First pick in the Whammy League 2024.
We'll see. Is the Whammy League happening at this point? I was hoping to get Drew in on it, but he's
like, no, I don't fucking know. He was out so fast. No interest.
Anyway, that's Prince of Persia. Guys, what are we at? About a $1.22. I'm sorry this has already gone longer than I wanted to.
Let's do it. I want to beat these
No,
fools.
this is great. Let's go.
Critical Hits. This is round 4. Nick did 2, Chris did 1. Is this our 4th iteration of Critical Hits? Is that correct? Somebody confirm for me. Nick got it from his microphone. I think it's the 4th one.
That is correct.
Is this is the 3rd, isn't it?
I think Nick did 2 before
Nick
Chris
did. Yeah, he did the one with the years where we had to pick games from a specific year that like was an amazing proof of concept that we were all really bad at. And so then he pivoted to more of the model that we're doing now with like categories. And then I did one in which EJ and I's friendship was tested for the first time. And then, and then we made up and EJ now is on his revenge tour. I've got
Cynical
my next
hits.
one. I've got my cynical hits. I've got my next one written, and I'm really excited to do it. So I'm glad that we're getting to this round now.
I was telling Nick beforehand that I'm not very good at coming up with like trivia and like tying it to a theme. So basically, I was at home on Saturday, just like watching TV, and something came to me. And so I very loosely use that as inspiration for some of these questions. And I think it'll get more apparent. I hope it'll get more apparent as we go through. So I'm assuming Nick can hear me right now. I'm going to wait till I can see Nick to verify that he can hear me before I go into the rules and the conceit for this week's. Nick can hear me. All right. The conceit this week, fellas. And I want to see hands. I don't want any phones. I don't want any looking anywhere. We're above board here. We're not looking anything up. I love Nick is putting his phone as far away as he possibly can. He's going to sit back so I can see his hands at all times. I can see Brendan.
Wait, I think you have a second phone.
No, the knowledge is within him now. Is that deep lore now? Is that the 3rd time we've referenced Brendan eating his phone?
Very deep.
Is
Oh,
it?
it's about to be. The conceit this week, gentlemen, is the lowest scoring game among all answers scores the highest, and so forth in reverse order. This is the whammy week, boys.
You
the whammy week.
Fucking stole my next round.
Oh, bummer.
God damn it.
Can I tell you what I was going to do to really fuck with you guys? Is I was going to put a cap and you could only answer games within 75 to 85 on Metacritic, but that felt a little too mean and wouldn't be as good a theater.
That's dumb.
So, yeah. So this is the
That's
whammy
funny.
week, all right?
Damn it.
Wham it. Let me give you some rules here, okay? There are no bans, obviously, from previous editions of Critical Hits. Unless you're Brandon, who is our ghost this week, who answered, he has 2 90s on his board. So we'll get to that in a moment. So no bans from previous edition of Critical Hits, but you cannot choose a game you or your opponents have already used in this edition. No repeat franchises for a specific question. Same rules as last time. Eligibility will be determined when an answer is given, with 1 opportunity per question to correct as needed. And I'll let you know if that's the case. We're going to do a 2-minute timer. That might be a little long. It was initially 90 seconds, but Nick kind of scoffed at that, so we might go 2 minutes here.
I'm just saying, it depends. It depends on the prompts.
Yeah.
I just
Right. An NA, not a 0, an NA will be awarded to anyone who doesn't provide an answer in that time. The group can and should litigate after a question has been answered if you feel it needs litigating. If I'm too generous in what I accept and you have a good argument against somebody's game, that's the theater of it, baby. No more Franklin is the underdog. Not in my fucking game. He's not. So please, you're encouraged to litigate in good faith, please. I don't want any bad faith nonsense
you're
happening.
wrong group of folks then, brother.
Answers with the same Metacritic score will tie for whichever placement they're awarded, with the next answer bumping up 1 placement. Standard. We're going to have a tiebreaker as needed at the end of 6 rounds. First to buzz in gets to answer. If he's wrong, the next contestant has a chance to answer. However, that has 3 questions for the tiebreaker round. I don't think we're going to need that. So what I think is going to happen is we're going to turn those last 3 rounds into a bonus round. And instead of like last time where we're doing a snake style where everyone gets to choose 2 answers. So the first round, Bren, Nick, Chris, Nick, Bren. The 3 bonus rounds will only be 1 answer each. I don't think we're going to need to do a tiebreaker, so let's just count on those last 3 rounds being bonus rounds. Here we go. Additional points will be handed out for competing with our ghost time. And Brandon is our ghost this week, and he has played this game, and he's played in good faith. But instead of doing a system like Chris did, where I'm predetermining, I'm weighting points, and you have a score you're trying to beat, I am scoring Brandon as we go. If you answer a game that he already guessed, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to tell you what he guessed right off the bat. obviously, but I'm going to score them as we go just to give you an idea of where things stand and how you're doing versus Brandon. However, you'll get additional points for getting the closest to our ghost time. So descending from who gets closest to his overall score, an additional 7, 5, and 3 points will be awarded in order. I don't know why I'm doing 7, 5, and 3. It should probably just be like 7 and 5 and 0. But everyone gets bonus points regardless.
Woohoo!
But this way,
Millennials love it just for participating.
my thought was, well, if you give points for beating the ghost score, that either gives everyone points, so it doesn't matter, or it gives the person who wins more points, which also doesn't matter. So this way, assuming everybody here is going to beat Brandon, which was maybe a little presumptuous before he answered, but the fact he has 2 90s on his board, maybe it wasn't as presumptuous as I thought. My assumption there was that third place is going to get the additional 7 points. So it adds a little wrinkle, again, in the spirit of this being whammy week. And then you'll get an additional 10 points. 10 points for correctly guessing the theme. That's a lot of points. This could completely make or break the game. It could completely make or break the game. Same rules as Chris. I didn't want to shake things up too much. I thought last time worked really well. You can guess at the end of rounds 3, 6, and 9, and we'll just let it go, and you can shout things out, and whoever gets it, gets it. I think the theme will be more apparent as we approach round 9, and I hope someone will get it after round 9. So, with that in mind, this is Critical Hits, Whammy Week. First round, Bren goes first. 2-minute timer. Does everybody understand the rules? Are there any questions? Does everyone feel ready?
We'll
No,
see.
but of course.
What Nick said.
A game, Brennan, where your player can only speak gibberish. Time starts now.
I feel like I should have a timer on my screen too, just so I know.
2 minutes might be too much. Maybe we should do 60 seconds.
Oh, that sounds awful.
I know he's thinking of games right now, but he's trying to think of games that are bad. And remember,
Yeah, that's the toughie. And Metacritic only goes back so far.
it's better to have an answer than an NA.
Yeah,
I will
I'm
tell
gonna,
you that.
I'm gonna say The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword remake.
I do not know if they speak gibberish in that game. I know they make noises. Oh, if it's anything like other Zelda games. Fellas, do they speak gibberish?
The character doesn't speak at all. So
Link
I don't
doesn't.
know how that, well, that is the character.
That's
your
the
phrasing
player
of the
can
question.
only speak
Yeah,
gibberish. So Link
So
doesn't.
Link doesn't speak. So how can that work?
Bernie, you have 22 seconds to give me another answer.
The Sims 2.
The Sims 2. All right. Reset. Nick, a game where your player can only speak gibberish.
I'm going to go with the first ukulele. It's just titled Ukulele.
Chris, a game where your player can only speak gibberish.
I may get litigated on this one, but that's fine. I'm going to say a recently discussed game that in fact received a Goobrick on this very episode, and that's Skull Island Rise of Kong. He only speaks in monkey sounds and yells, which to our human ears is no better than gibberish.
That feels like a bad faith answer to me, but I can't speak to that because I didn't pay that much attention.
It doesn't feel like there's communicating happening when there are sounds happening. It's mostly just like effort noises a la Link in Skyward Sword. But there's not even any placeholder text such as Link also communicates.
I'm gonna nix that answer, Chris. You have another
I respect
minute
that.
to
I
give me.
respect that. Conker's Bad Fur Day.
I thought the characters actually spoke in that game. Conker talks in that game.
All right, I'm gonna have to go to YouTube here.
He's got like a lisp and he talks like a drunk squirrel because he is a drunk squirrel, but he literally is like quoting The Matrix and movies and stuff. It's more Gex than it is Banjo.
Holy shit, you're right.
It's horrendous, right?
Have I been Mandala'd?
Mandala?
Have I been Mandela'd? I'm gonna need another answer.
How much additional time do I have here?
A minute.
Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. The characters all speak gibberish Italian. That is title carded as translation.
Little beeps.
Ascolta Baro. Astuta da hera fanderi.
A book of the Beppo.
A book of the maple.
I'm trying to find. You said Paper Jam?
Paper Jam on the 3DS.
Another answer. Your time starts now.
Oh, fuck. We get 2 titles? Oh, Christ.
Now everyone's just saving fucking Kong in the back pocket, dude, waiting for something where this fits. I will let you know that Brandon got 90 and 88, respectively, on this round.
On this round?
On this round.
My God.
Because, again, having an answer is better than no answer. And he just went with the only things he could think of, which I'm assuming we're all thinking of currently.
They're good games, it turns out. EJ, did you, I don't want you to give anything away, but when you were thinking of these prompts, did you also have games in mind?
Yes, I had games in mind. I didn't
Was this
record
inspired
them.
by a game, like a bad game that you are thinking of?
It was inspired first by the theme that I, again, came up with in the living room, laying on my tushy. And then when I went to look up some potential answers for one of these questions, I saw how many bad games were on the list. And then I said, we're doing Whammy Week. So it was all kind of tied together, but it wasn't
Okay.
so.
I just remember when I was coming up with the horror themed week that it was going in reverse. Like I thought of a game, or we thought of a game franchise, and then we're like, oh, what is the hallmark of that game franchise? And then kind of reverse engineered it that way.
See, I mostly thought of good games for all of my prompts.
Right? Because those are they're more
Yeah.
memorable.
Yeah, that's timer.
Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg.
I'll give it to you. Let me take a look here.
Yeah, I think he talks too.
I don't fucking know. He
think he
wanted a
talks to-
title. I gave him a title.
Sonic Team had text, or they had voices in Sonic Adventure. I think that was like they were ahead of the curve on that one. Bad dialogue. It's nearing gibberish in its execution and writing. But I think he talked. EJ can confirm or deny.
I'm trying to find where he might talk.
There's a point in the first level where he like meets a guy. There's like a mayor of some town. I remember watching a streamer play this game like last year, so it is an inscrutable game though.
There was gibberish, but I don't think that was him talking. Nobody's saying any words of any kind here.
Do Billy Hatcher all cutscenes? Wait, none of the Kojima games are actually reviewed poorly, or else that would be gibberish.
Ooh.
No, there are no mouthing sounds whatsoever here in the game. It's just text.
Hmm.
You want another one then, or am I just SOL?
There's a lot of ha and he's, but no words and no gibberish. And that's just in the cutscene. I'm talking about gameplay here. I'm not going to consider that answer. I will give you 30 seconds to come up with
Glover.
another answer.
Glover.
Glover.
If you want to be my Glover.
Glover gun?
Wow. Does Glover speak?
I don't fucking know. I'm trying so hard. All the things I can think of are from the fucking SNES, and they're not gonna have Metacritic scores.
He does in the music video for This Is America.
Here we go, Glover. Michelin man ass looking bitch.
Master Hand.
Yeah, that's my headcanon.
Glover doesn't talk. This is hilarious. I've never played Glover. This Spy Kids 2 ass. This shit's creepy as hell, dude.
Blockbuster exclusive, I think.
Chris, I'm sorry to say, you're getting an NA.
That's all right. I feel good about my first one. I'm okay.
Time starts, Nick, now.
There's the Banjo-Kazooie on Game Boy Advance that I believe is Grunty's Revenge. I believe that is a poorly reviewed game.
Banjo and Kazooie, Grunty's Revenge. Shall we take a look?
I'm just wondering if they actually took the time to import gibberish sounds onto the Game Boy Advance during dialogue boxes.
Yeah, that's what I don't know too. I thought about that also because I just got that for Tiffany for her birthday. I was like, oh shit, she played that for like 45 seconds. Did they have any sounds? Like, I don't remember.
Nick, it counts.
Kobe.
Yes.
All right, Brennan, your time starts now.
I'm wondering, like, that 3D or not the 2D side-scrolling Pac-Man game. Is that Pac-Man World?
I don't know. Is it Bren?
Pac-Man Adventures?
You gonna commit to a name there?
Let's just go with Pac-Man Adventures. Is that a thing?
I'm gonna be a little less strict sometimes.
Except when it comes to me, and that's fine. Turnabout is fair play.
Ha!
I accept it graciously, which would be a refreshing change of pace for everyone on this podcast.
Sowing, this is great. Reaping, oh, this sucks.
Look, here comes the consequence. Look, here comes the consequences of my actions now.
What platform did you say this Pac-Man Adventures was on?
I think this would be Sega.
That is not a platform, my dude.
Or like Genesis?
You need to give me a new answer. You have 1 minute.
Let's go with Comic Zone.
Comic Zone, huh?
Is there talking in Comic Zone? I own that game.
No idea. No idea.
Is there a Metacritic page for Comic Zone? One of its many ports.
Also, no
because it Sure
idea.
didn't on Genesis.
There is a score for Comic Zone. Now we just need to find out whether they speak gibberish or not.
Wow, that's crazy. That's
There's for sure dialogue boxes.
This is the only question I'm gonna have to verify like this, thankfully. So we'll be breezy after this.
audio-based question. Lots of legwork.
More than I'd like, but again, this is the only question like this. This game looks sick.
It's pretty tight.
I got to throw it in the old Nomad one of these days.
This game looks tight as fuck.
It's a cult classic, man.
Him jumping between the panels of the comic book. Side-scrolling beat-em-up game.
Console Crusade Vacation 24. I'll get my Genesis out of my tubs. I'll get Comic Zone. I will curate a selection for us.
Brennan, with the NA, I can already tell you Nick has won this round. With Ukulele scoring a 68.
That's higher than Paper Jam? Or lower?
Paper Jam has a 76. That's 4 points for Nick, plus Banjo and Kazooie Grunty's Revenge with a 72 for an additional 3 points. And then Chris with 2 points for Mario and Luigi Paper Jam at 76 on the Metacritic.
Damn, I thought that started with a 6.
And then because of the NAs, Bren will get 1 point for Sims 2, which had a 90. So,
Yeah.
Bro, I was going to say that game
I
is
know.
awesome.
It's a good game. I
You could have done like the herbs.
Oh, Sims
right,
in the
boys.
City? Wow. Yeah.
it's gonna get a little easier after this. I need a better solution than twisting my whole body every time I have to fucking type something in here. This is
Also,
untenable.
EJ, for games released on multiple platforms, are you choosing the lowest score, or are you taking an aggregate of all the scores, or what is your method there?
If there are multiple versions of the game,
You take the lowest, right? I mean, that's in keeping with what we've done.
I
In the
would take the
inverse.
lowest. I would take the lowest. And again, no review is not a 0. That is an NA. We will not be gaming the system in that regard. This round, a game featuring a character with superpowers. Much easier than gibberish, I think. Your time starts now.
Superman 64.
God
Fuck
damn it.
you. Fuck you.
I mean, the only thing I'm risking is did it get an aggregate score, but that is like renowned to be like one of the worst video games ever made. So hell yeah, Superman 64, dude.
Chris, a game featuring a character with superpowers. Go.
Catwoman.
Does she doesn't have superpowers.
In some canon, she does.
She's got like a healing factor or something, I
Yeah,
think.
Catwoman has super.
Doesn't she die and she's like resurrected by a cat god
Yeah,
or something?
but the
Yeah.
game, the Halle Berry game, does she have superpowers?
I mean, that's what happens to her in the movie, right? She comes back from the dead. Is that a superpower?
I don't know. I never
She
watched
has
it.
superpowers. Nice try, but we're moving on.
Which Catwoman? This is the Halle Berry Catwoman. Is that what you're saying?
That is what I am saying.
And this is a game that came out on which platform?
I believe it was multi-platform in the GameCube, PS2, Xbox era. See, this tells me that you are not actually just taking the lowest.
I'm making sure you know. I'm looking at the Metacritic page for a Catwoman game with all of the platform scores right in front of me. I'm making sure that you know what you're talking about. Catwoman does not have superpowers in the comic books or otherwise. I will not accept that answer.
Oh, yes, she fucking does. She has a healing factor.
That's not super.
In one of the Batman games, she appears to have superpowers via healing factor, but in the comics, she does not traditionally have superpowers. Good answer, though. That would have scored very well.
Did you have not seen the Catwoman movie? Did you Google the Catwoman movie to verify that she does not have superpowers in the Catwoman movie?
Does Catwoman have superpowers? Halle Berry.
Because if you're going to go this route, then I need the receipts. You can't just say, no, she doesn't. I know you didn't see that fucking movie. No one saw that movie.
Well, at
It was
least it's not
awful.
going to be like the first round where you had to do a bunch of research, EJ.
All right. Chris, I like that you're keeping me honest here. Catwoman, 2004 film. We're going to go down to the wiki tab, powers and abilities.
Hell yeah.
If I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down with fact-based research.
Powers, superhuman reflexes,
Check.
That's super.
Thank you,
Reflexes
Brennan.
are similarly augmented greater than an average human. Augmented implies
checkaroo.
superhuman strength, a dramatic increase in physical strength. All right, Chris gets Catwoman.
And she talks to cats, doesn't she?
That's a superpower.
I have
It's a
superpowers.
superpower you want.
It's a superpower I wish I had. Bren, your time starts now. A character with superpowers.
Spider-Man Web of Shadows.
All right, Web of Shadows. Bren, another game.
Iron Man 2, the movie game.
Ooh, nice, dude.
Oh.
Honestly, we have a harder time thinking of good games in this category.
Yikes. Yikes. Okay. Chris, your time starts now.
Showing his hand.
Again, if it wasn't clear, I'm not giving you mulligans for games that do not have aggregate scores. Only games that I do not accept as an answer.
Okay.
Chris.
This may get litigated. That's fine.
God damn it.
Saints Row 2022 or 2023. The most recent Saints Row game. It was just titled Saints Row.
Don't know if that one specifically has superpowers. I think they went more grounded, but also I didn't play the game because it's bad.
It is bad.
Not as bad as you might have assumed, but still pretty bad.
At least according to the wiki, I can't find anything referencing power.
Okay. Then I will go Star Wars The Old Republic Legacy of the Sith.
Yeah, are you counting expansions, EJ?
That's mean-spirited, Nicholas. And runs counter to your good Christian upbringing.
That's what I strive to do with my every waking moment, Chris.
I'll count it. Nick, you're on the clock.
Crackdown 3.
Ooh, it's a good one.
Crackdown 3. Let me tabulate my scores. Talk amongst yourself, please.
Brendan with the superhero picks of this round, though, for sure.
Yeah,
Damn.
some really good ones. We know who number one's going to be, but 2 through 4 very much in play.
I mean, Superman 64 might not have gotten enough reviews for a Metacritic average.
Sadly, it does not have an aggregate.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is
So-
tragic. That game is so
That would have
fucking
been my
bad.
number one pick, though. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Would've been my
Spirit
two.
of the draft. I take the moral victory on that one, but it's definitely Brendan with the 7 points this round.
EJ can give you a moral 5 points for it in the column.
Just a pity points. Nah, I don't need them.
I cannot find a Legacy of the Sith Metacritic, though I have found the Open Critic page, which I am open to taking.
That's up to the group. I mean,
I'll allow it.
It does not have a top critic score, however. Sadly, that will be getting an NA.
yes, it does. I had it 2 years ago in the league.
I wonder if anybody took down their review because it was irrelevant or didn't get enough
Oh, it
clicks.
does. It does, even though it has a big old question mark if you actually go to the page. Okay, Chris.
Oh,
you'll be
weird.
getting it
That's funny.
62 for that.
Broken website. Can't believe we used that.
Crackdown 3.
I know it starts with a 6.
So, in first place for this round,
Brennan.
Brennan, the 41 for Iron Man 2.
Holy shit.
Third place is Chris with Catwoman at a 45.
Third place.
Second place, 3 points rather.
Man, he's even trying to fucking cha-cha slide me down the rankings in real time.
My points are accurate here. Bren in third place with 2 points for 52 on Spider-Man Web of Shadows. Nick with Crackdown 3 at around 60. That's 1 point.
Yo,
That is 1 point for you.
man. Poor Superman. For its time.
Yeah, pour one out.
Well, this is going a little slower than I thought, but we're going to keep rolling with the boys and let it down nicely.
The magic of editing.
I live for this.
All right, round 3. Chris, you'll be going first. Let me reset my timer. I am going to have Nick cross-reference this before we declare the winner because I'm starting to get all confuddled with the numbers. I'm not using the algorithm either.
Dude, it's hard, and I hope that this will retroactively give you a little bit more empathy for me trying to do all of these things at the same time.
For you? No.
Well,
No.
I know the E word is not in your vocabulary, but maybe understanding.
It is if it starts with EJ.
I will say, guys, Brandon got 38 and 59. Brandon knocked it out of the park with a 38 right there. Again, I won't tell you which game.
You will after, right?
I will after. I'll read through all of his answers because there's some really good ones and really fucking funny ones. Chris, you'll be going first. A game where you collect party members to battle with.
Digimon World Next Order.
Next order?
That's Digimon Story Next Order or Digimon World Next Order. It's one of those.
I'll take it either way. Bren, a game where you collect party members. Go.
God, this is so out of my wheelhouse.
I should also remind you guys that Brandon is not being scored in lieu of anyone else. He's being scored parallel to you guys. So, for example, where he got a 38, he gets the 4 points in addition to Bren getting 4 points for his 41. Does that make sense? Okay.
I don't know. Pokemon Violet.
Pokemon Violet. That is a very solid answer.
Some might even say cromulent.
Nick, you have 2 answers in a row. 2 minutes starts now.
Ah, God, yeah, for real. Like, this is like, talk about a round that I wish I was better prepared for, having 2 back-to-back, like just having like a franchise that I could just wail on and get the 2 worst ones and then hopefully sink the victory right there. But I'm struggling to think of bad RPGs that are newer than PlayStation 1.
That's just it, right? We only play good RPGs now. We avoid the bad ones.
Ooh, I don't know if there's party members. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remaster. Is that a party member collecting game, Chris?
No, it's not. You're either controlling all 4 classes by yourself or each player character.
But do you gain any new characters throughout the game?
No. You have the 4 folks you play with the whole time.
I know that remaster is pretty legendary about how bad it was.
All right. A mulligan. You have an additional minute for your mulligan.
Then I'll just go for the Tales of Symphonia remaster. That was a bummer.
You collect party members in that game?
Yeah, you start with just Lloyd, and then you get more members, and you can swap between them during the combat. It's sort of the escalation of not necessarily difficulty, but just like more things to juggle while you're fighting.
All right. An additional 2 minutes starts now.
Can I get a vibe check on Sonic and the Black Knight? That was the Sonic RPG on DS.
Sonic?
Never even heard of it.
Neither have I.
Was that
Made by BioWare.
I thought that was on the Wii.
One of them was on the Wii, but I don't think it was Black Knight. I think Secret
know.
Rings was on the Wii.
Secret Rings was on the Wii, but I thought there were 2. Do you get party members in that? I don't know. Or do you collect party members, or do you just have Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles the whole time?
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's like one where it's like, oh, and also there's that cat lady who joins us, and then Girl Knuckles is hanging out with us for a bit, you know?
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Seems like an RPG would be the genre in which they add more characters than just the main 3. I'm sorry you have to go to a Sonic wiki, EJ. This is like going to ruin your cookies and your history.
I will give this to you, Nick, as you do unlock characters. And there are certain requirements to unlock certain characters. That is not what I was thinking of when I thought of collects, but it does fall under that definition, and I will give it to you. So that is Sonic and the Black Knight on the Wii.
On the Wii, okay.
All right, Bren, your time starts now.
Monster Rancher 2.
Monster
Nice
Rancher
poll.
2. Chris.
One of those Monster Ranchers had to be bad, right?
One of them. Your time starts now.
Chocobo Grand Prix. Unlock additional
racing
characters to... Battle does not mean physical combat. Battle could mean many things.
But you're not racing with a party. You're not collecting party members in that game. You're unlocking characters to use as your main character.
Double Dash, that's a party of 2.
You want to list Double Dash? Go ahead.
Chris, you get another try.
Okay. The Wonderful 101.
Interesting. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I think it certainly qualifies. It's a little outside the box, but I remember that launching on the Wii like a wet thud. So hopefully it's at least in the 70s. I don't remember.
All right, I'm going to tabulate the scores here. Bren coming in hot with an 83 in that round. I like that.
Yeah.
The Wonderful 101 starts with a 7.
I'll take it. I played it a little bit and I was like, this is not good, and promptly returned it.
This is hard. This is a lot of keeping track of things here.
Console Crusade Vacation 24. We are playing Nintendo Land. I just want to make that perfectly clear. You will all understand. And you'll feel so sorry you didn't let it on the top 100.
First place, Nick with Sonic the Black Knight. That's a 54. Second place is
Always count on
Chris
Sonic.
with Digimon World Next Order. That
Nice, dude.
is a 61.
Nice.
Third place, Nick, again, with Tales of Symphonia Remastered, that's a 63.
Lower on
And then-
Metacritic. Wow.
And then Bren
Switch port.
in fourth, Pokemon Violet, has a 71, so that's good for 1 point. Brandon got 2 points this round for one of his answers. He had a 63 and a 73.
Really? I would have thought this is like totally Brandon's round, knowing all
Yeah,
the deep cut
seriously.
JRPGs, like some Breath of Fire that came out on PS2 that people actually legit hated or whatever. Or fucking that one Mega Man RPG that Chris stands up for, but is probably reviewed very poorly.
What is... No, don't answer that. Maybe I could use that in the future.
Guys, this is the end of round 3.
Could you recap the 3 previous prompts?
Because we can't write shit down.
Yeah, listeners.
Our
at home.
3 previous prompts: a game where your character can only speak gibberish, a game featuring a character with superpowers, a game where you collect party members to battle with. I'm going to give you guys 20 seconds to try and guess the theme. You can shout it out loud. Shout out to Kiss.
N64.
Suicide Squad killed the Justice League.
Whammy League 23. Chris 21.
That would have been funny, but no.
Damn it.
EJ's dream game.
No,
Oh, yeah, EJ's dream game.
it won't be apparent yet.
Gibberish,
Okay,
superpowers, and party members. Okay.
All right, we're going to move on here. We're going to try to be a little breezier through this. I know we're taking some time. There's a lot of...
It's cool.
all right. Bren is going first. This was Brandon's best round by a country fucking mile. So Bren gets to go first, and some of you are going to be very upset, or maybe not. I think there'll be some litigation here. A tie-in to a popular movie franchise, Bren. Go.
I already used one.
There are a lot of movie tie-ins out there, but
Let's go.
Can I ask, tie into the movie or tie into the movie franchise?
Yeah, that's an important distinction.
Like, what is your intent on that one, I guess?
Like, is this supposed to be like a licensed game about the movie?
it does not have to be canon to the tie-ins universe. I wish I could tell you how I concocted this question and what I was thinking of specifically, but it would give away the theme. Based
Batman
on
Begins.
Batman Begins. That's a game?
Did that get
Yeah.
a licensed game? Holy shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what? I'm not going to count Batman Begins because while that is a tie-in to a greater...
What?
Well, Batman
that was
Begins
a huge
is based...
franchise, that trilogy.
Batman Begins, the game, is based on a television show. Its own
It's based on the movie.
Batman Beyond is a TV show. Batman Begins
Beyond.
is-
It's the other BB. Thank you. Thank
Take
you.
this
All right,
guy's
Batman
mic.
Begins. Oh, like I'm the fucking arbiter of all things Batman. He's the fucking worst superhero. Batman fucking sucks. I'm sorry I got my BBs mixed up. But you guys kept me honest, as we do here on the Console Crusade podcast. Let's think Batman Beyond. Batman Beyond fucks.
That was great.
All right, Nick, your time starts now. A tie-in to a popular movie franchise.
How about Star Wars Masters of Terrascasi?
What?
That is a phenomenal pick.
What? I don't even know how to spell that. I've never
just
heard
look
of
up-
that.
look up Star Wars fighting game.
Star
Yeah, it's a
Wars.
Star Wars fighting game.
And you'll get the spelling on the title. And
That is amazing. That is so good. Nick, I love how deep that pull was.
that is a legendary whammy. That is mentioned in the same breath as Superman 64.
that is a deep pull.
I'm surprised you don't own this game on PS1, EJ. That's the risk, though. PS1.
Okay. All right. Chris, you're up back to back, 4 minutes on the timer.
First one, GoldenEye Rogue Agent.
Nice.
It's a great pick.
Time check.
You've got like 2:45 left. No, minus.
Okay, well,
I've
this time
combined
check
your
is now
time that
eaten
round.
30 of my fucking seconds.
I'm sorry. I combined your times into 4 minutes because you had, but I should have kept them separate as two-minute rounds.
Shrek Hassle in the Castle.
Ooh, brother.
I can't wait to look some of these games up, dude.
That's so
Oh my God, all right.
Damn.
I played that,
Nick.
got the game for my birthday. Some grandparent without a fucking clue.
Yeah, so that makes me want to think, ooh, man, Game Boy Advance had a lot of bad tie-ins. Fuck. I wish I was more up to date on that stuff because I was so deep in it for a long time there. Doing Game Boy Advance collections and trying to find the hidden gems and trying to find the wheat from the mountains of chaff. Let me just say,
Oceans.
deep chaff in that. Oceans of chaff.
making me hungry.
I wonder if he even has a score. There's an Elf game on Game Boy Advance.
No.
I think it's just called Elf.
No.
I just want it for the lulz. If you don't mind, EJ, I'm sorry. I don't know the exact title. I think it is just called Elf, though. Which would have been, 2006? Like, after the DS even. Oh, my God. Yeah, that was a late release.
I'll accept it.
Oh, my God.
I doubt it has scores. I mean, there's no fucking way, right? Please, God, give me a 50.
All right, Brendan, your time starts now for a tie-in to a popular movie franchise.
You'll have to let me know if this is not allowed, if it's kind of piggybacking off of previous. But Spider-Man 3, the game.
That's not a piggyback. Nobody's done Spider-Man this round.
Based on Sam Raimi's cult classic, I might say, Spider-Man 3 featuring Topher Grace, my Venom. Thank you.
That says a lot about you.
He doesn't even say that his name is Eddie Block, though.
Eddie Block.
I like how, I can't remember the actor's name that is the new Venom or whatever, but just the fact that he talks like Homestar Runner is just beautiful to me.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah, Tom Hardy.
Man,
What a
Topher Grace,
character.
what a horribly miscast actor.
Yeah, I think the joke was, hey, this is who we should have gotten for Spider-Man, but we really missed that boat on accident.
All right. This is a bummer of a round for Nick.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
no scores on those, huh?
360 no score.
Yeah.
Unfortunately not. In first place, we have Brendan with Spider-Man 3 pulling a 50 on the PlayStation 2.
God damn it.
In second place, we have Chris with GoldenEye Rogue Agent with a 58.
Wow.
Now, you'll be shocked at what Shrek Castle the Castle starts with on the game.
85.
Does it have a score?
Yeah, it has a score, and it's 71. But you get 1 point for that. Bren gets 2 points for Batman Begins with a 64. Nick, Star Wars Masters of Terras and Elf, neither of which had aggregates.
That's crazy. Terrascasi's a PlayStation game.
Yeah. It was just a little early on the cusp.
Brandon gets 4 and 3 points respectively for his 23 and 39. On this round.
23! They go that low?
Oh boy, do they.
I have got to know what fucking game he
Wow.
pulled out of his asshole. I can think of a couple that are pre-64 and probably don't have scores. Anyway.
Well, you guys want to litigate this? Well, let's litigate it right now. I'll tell you what his 23 was.
Sure, tell me. Because if it's Gollum or Skull Island, those are not based on the movies. They're based on books.
Which I didn't know until right now. He got Skull Island, Rise of Kong, since we've already mentioned it today.
Yeah, that's based on a book.
Got a 23.
DQ'd.
Are we DQing that for
Yeah, it's not
Brandon?
based on a fucking film franchise.
Sorry, Brandon. You're getting DQ'd for that. You're getting a big old NA for that answer. Nick, you're going to be going first this round. A game where the main character is a child.
Now I'm just stuck on licenses, but I mean, that's like totally fair because a lot of bad licensed games came out.
That's where you're going to get a lot of the bad stuff.
Yeah, especially kids media. Kids media loves to have kids as the main characters.
Doesn't necessarily say main character, right? As long as a playable character is a child.
Yeah, you can do The Last of Us Part 1, Brendan.
Can we get a reread of the wording of the question?
A game where the main character is a child.
This is hard. This is probably the hardest round so far for me in my mind, my stupid mind. What's my time?
You have 50 seconds.
I'm glad you're a lot less of a stickler about getting the exact title and having some leeway there.
Yeah. I didn't want to come in and be the person Chris thought I was going to be this round. I want it to be fun. And I think it'll be fun to listen back to, even though we're all, twisting our dicks right now over games.
I love a good dick
Yeah,
twist.
You're a bigger man than me. You're a bigger man than me, that's for sure. Ah, fuck.
Remember that when I win the league.
You'll make it very difficult to try to remember that, EJ.
Nick, you've run out of time.
Rugrats, the Go to Paris, the movie game. I couldn't think of the Rugrats games.
I'll give it to you.
Rugrats in Paris.
I'll give it to you. Chris, your time starts now. A
Rugrats
game
in
where
Paris. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
And they're going gorillas.
The Wild Thornberries on GBA. I seriously doubt it's multiplat, but I know it's on GBA.
I'm going to verify that okay, it does exist on the GBA. All right, Bren, your time starts now.
Dexter's Lab on GBA.
Nice.
I played that shit. I don't know if it was good though.
It probably wasn't. It was a Dexter's Lab game on Game Boy Advance.
Bren, your time starts now.
Isn't there a Baby Mario game?
Are you asking me? Because I'm not going to answer that. And I doubt they will.
How about the Incredibles game? Because you play as Flash and Violet.
Multi-plat games, often the worst scoring game is on a platform where the game is a completely separate development. Not a port,
Game
it's
Boy
just a
Advance.
different game. So we're being very generous here for you guys.
Makes for good theater.
The Incredibles. I'll say you guys have basically gotten games with the same scores so far. This will be very interesting round.
We're
Never
all
mind.
51.
Never mind, I lied. I just found the multi-plat on this other game. It's a lot worse. Oh, and would you fucking guess it's on Game Boy Advance? Wow. Lucky you. All right. Chris, your time starts now.
The Lizzie McGuire movie on GBA.
I'm sensing a theme here.
The Lizzie McGuire movie.
Pocket Crusade lives on.
I'm pretty sure it exists, man. If it doesn't, that's fine.
The Lizzie McGuire movie, the game does not exist.
Okay, moving on.
You have another minute for a mulligan. He's deep in concentration.
Yu Yu Hakusho tournament tactics.
You're not the only person who's answered with a Yu Yu Hakusho during this game. Our ghost.
Did he pick up the one on PS2?
I'm not going to tell you what he did.
Because I couldn't remember the name of that one.
Tournament Tactics, you said?
Yeah, it's on the GBA, a shameless and completely marginal Final Fantasy Tactics ripoff. Like just a crappy reskin slapdash piece of shit fucking game.
Unfortunate and hilarious. Nick, your time starts now. A game where the main character is a child.
I'm going to tell you a joke answer, and then I'm going to give a real answer.
I'll allow it.
But just for the bit, Dragon Ball Z Legendary Super Warriors. But actually, I want there's a Spy Kids movie tie-in game.
Oh
that I
my
want.
God.
Good joke answer. What is that? Spy Kids
Spy Kids,
on the Game Boy Advance?
probably.
Okay, I'm going to need a little more specificity. You can't just say movie franchise and hope there's a game. Are you
Chris
thinking of a
did that.
game? Are you thinking of a game?
I'm thinking that there was a PS2 game for Spy Kids, and that probably also had a Game Boy Advance version because every freaking movie made for children between the years of 2000 and 2006 had that exact same treatment.
I'll give you Spy Kids GBA. You lucky son of a gun.
I'm
I tell
honestly
you what.
surprised that I thought of it after, but Mary Kate and Ashley Winter Circle.
Winter Circle. I thought about it, but I was like, it couldn't have reviews. It couldn't have reviews.
There's very low chance I got reviews. Winter Circle. Good get, dude.
That would have been my first choice if I thought that it had
Yeah,
reviews.
can the ghost just be Legendary Super Warriors and Winter Circle instead of whatever Brandon picked?
What is the review average on Metacritic for Legendary Super Warriors?
There is none. All right. In first place, Bren with the Incredibles, 55. Second place, Spy Kids 3D Game Over on the Game Boy Advance, 62. Tied for third place is Rugrats Go to Paris on the N64 and Dexter's Lab GBA with 64s. And unfortunately, because both Chris and also Chris gave me titles with no score, he will not be getting the 1 point for fourth place.
Brutal.
That is brutal.
And
That
it means
is
you
brutal.
just straight up cannot collect points?
There's no score for those games. They don't qualify. I think I'm going to give you free points just because my boy's tied for third place.
Yeah.
If one of
By
your games had a
process of
score,
elimination.
I would give you the 1 point.
You could have gotten a 96. You could have put Ocarina of Time in there.
All right.
You would have got a better point.
So we're going into round 6. Let me tell you, Brandon had 56 and 67, which would be good enough for second
good.
place
Second and third? Second and
and
fourth.
fourth place, since Chris had no points. All right. This is our round 6. After this, we'll be able to do themes, and then we'll do the bonus round after this, which will just be one answer apiece. We'll be a little quicker, and we'll wrap this bitch up, boys. How's everybody feeling so far? I'll give you scores after this round.
This is funny.
I don't want them. Let's just keep going.
Honestly, you guys have been oscillating pretty well. It's like Nick knocks it out of the park with first and second place, and then he gets NAs. So it's.
I don't have a 1 this whole game, so no, it has not been oscillating. I've been losing.
It's been vacillating between Brennan and I.
Okay. All right. Round 6 here, fellas. Hopefully this will be easier than Kid. Jesus Christ, you guys. A game where the main character is an animal. Chris, you're kicking us off. Go.
Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
All right. Bren, a game where the main character is an animal.
Croc 2.
I hope that hangs dung on you.
I think that should be an automatic disqualification, personally.
I bet you do. Croc 2. I'll give you an extra point if you can tell me the subtitle on Croc 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
No points for you. The answer was there is no subtitle.
Legend of the Gobos.
Nope, that's the first game.
God damn it.
All right, Nick, you have 2 minutes for your first answer.
Okay.
Go.
He's thinking of his second one right now.
Well, I got 2 minutes now and 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
It's a perfectly valid way to use the system, okay? Croc 2 is a funny bit. Just want to reiterate that. I like that a lot. I
think the funnier bit is that Bren and I just absolutely shit our pants into our computer.
Yeah, I know.
On this
We'll get there. Don't worry. EJ, Gex 3? Was there a third Gex? Am I thinking of Gex 2? I'm just making up Gex.
What's the subtitle?
Which one is it, Nick? Gex 2 or 3?
I think 2 is Deep Cover Gecko. Let me do, there's a Game Boy one, but I don't know if that's likely to even have a score. So, do Gex Deep Cover Gecko. He's got sunglasses on the front. It's very cool.
All right. Timer starts now for your second answer.
Skull Island Rise of Kong.
There you go. He had that in the bank.
How did you guys do this?
You guys.
I wasn't even thinking about it.
It's been just long enough that they forgot.
That's so good. And he saved it for his second answer as a fuck you. That wasn't even like, that was so calculated.
I just wanted more time to think.
That's amazing. I love that. That is so good. All right, Bren, time starts now. A game where your main character is an animal.
Jersey Devil.
What is that?
The PS1 game?
Mm-hmm.
And what animal do you play as?
A Jersey Devil. I don't know. It's some sort of animal. Look it up.
I don't think a Jersey Devil is an animal. Isn't he a demon?
Look it up.
Isn't the Jersey Devil a demon?
Is the Tasmanian Devil a demon?
He is a legendary creature who inhabits the Pine Barrens, but whether that is...
oh, come the fuck on. Give it to him.
You accepted Kong.
It doesn't matter if it's a real or mystical animal. For fuck's sake, just give him the game.
He doesn't look like an... Okay, Jersey Devil video game Wikipedia. Jersey Devil is a platform game set in a 3D world. The player character's abilities include... Okay, Dennis, a mutated humanoid pumpkin. He is not an animal.
Okay.
I do not accept this answer.
A mutated humanoid pumpkin. I love writers for wikis, dude.
the Jersey Devil deep lore.
That's like the most beautiful string of words I've ever heard in the English language.
Fuck, what was it?
You got 20 seconds.
Roadrunner and Riley Coyote. Fuck, whatever that game was, where you play as the Roadrunner.
Man, that's pretty thin.
What game is that?
It's on the PlayStation.
The PlayStation 1?
Yeah.
There's leniency, and then there's, hey, EJ, here's 2 terms, find a game for me.
No, because I have a specific game. I don't...
You just don't know what it is.
It's just fucking Looney Tunes, like Roadrunner.
The game you're thinking of is a Super Nintendo game. I'm not going to give that to you, Brent. I'm sorry.
No, it was a 3D game.
The game you're thinking of.
I know what game you're thinking of.
Brent, don't look it up. Brent, don't look at things up.
You're saying I'm thinking of a game, and you're saying it's not the game that I'm thinking of.
You didn't give him a game.
I can't remember what that game is called.
You gave him Google search terms.
I believe that there is a PlayStation game where you play as the Roadrunner, but it is not called Roadrunner. There's an arcade Atari game, and there's a Super Nintendo game.
It's a fucking Looney Tunes game.
There's a lot of those,
Looney
dog.
Tunes, Roadrunner game.
All right.
I don't see it, man. It's a little
Let's
too
do a Scooby-Doo
loose.
game.
It's a little too loose.
Yeah, this is Kratos is a bad guy territory.
Okay. You know what? Shout out to my friend Ben, who today in the Discord said that was a perfectly cromulent argument. And the fact that you got shit on for that was really messed
EJ,
up,
if
dude.
Ben is holding up your argument, I don't know if that's if that's actually a good thing.
Don't you dare.
Shout out to Ben.
Chris?
Star Fox Adventures.
I don't know. Is he actually a fox?
A humanoid pumpkin. That man's a gort.
Woo!
Ooh, that was a bad pull for Chris there. All right, let me calculate.
Was it?
Yeah, that game starts with an 8, my man.
What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Rare don't miss.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Assault that was the absolute shit heap?
Assault was fine.
These games
Zero
are
was pretty
not
bad.
well liked. I thought about Zero, but I was like, these two are the ones that people are like, these. This is when we got
Assault.
bad.
Starts with a 6.
God fucking damn it.
You're so
Oops.
close. You're so close.
I'm like, which is the one with dinosaurs? That's the bad one, I think.
Yeah, Adventure's the one with the dinosaurs. You got that right. It's not remembered well, but it scored pretty well.
I'm just looking up Croc 2.
What is the subtitle on that, EJ? You're killing me.
There is no subtitle. I've already revealed that.
Oh, I must have been talking. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
That was the bit, is there is no subtitle. There's no legend, no gobos.
What's the hook? Why even care?
What's the
Where's the gobos? Where's the legend? My lights are all untextured. There are no gobos here.
This is where Chris is going to make his comeback here.
How?
Because
Oh no.
in first place, we have Nick, obviously, with Kong Skull Island with a 23.
Island Skull Kong.
In third place, we have Banjo-Kazooie with a 79.
Second
3
place?
points.
Second
3
place?
points. Sorry, second place. 3
You've done that
points,
to me
rather.
twice. I think he doesn't
I know,
want me to
I'm
win.
looking at the 3. I'm looking at the 3. I'm giving you points here. And then in third place with 2 points is Star Fox Adventures at 82 because Bren had an NA, and Nick had an NA with Gex.
Gex Deep Pocket didn't get scores. My dude.
Brendan is so salty right now. I need, I'm not asking for a lot of specificity, but I need a little something other than Google the Looney Tunes game.
He's been so generous. Like, I get it. I would feel probably the same way, but also, come on.
I did Google it, mind you. I did Google it. And the first 2 hits, the only 2 hits on the front page of Google for Looney Tunes Roadrunner game is an Atari game and a Super Nintendo game. I'm sure it exists. It's just, I'm now having to do too much research.
Yeah, and I think you actually play as Wile E. Coyote and not as the Roadrunner. I think the Roadrunner is your nemesis that you are chasing after in
Probably.
that game,
Probably.
much like the cartoon. And it's cell shaded.
It's
it looks
also
really
been
good,
like
actually.
25 years since I played it, so
Hey, that's fair. I'm not judging you, Bren, for your recollection of a childhood favorite. But you're also not getting points for it this round. All right. You guys are going to get 20 seconds to shout into the void on a count of 3 here.
Titles or round descriptions. Give us the questions again.
I will give you all the descriptions before I count down.
Thank you. I was like,
Kids, animals, and movies.
A game where your player can only speak gibberish. A game featuring a character with superpowers. A game where you collect party members to battle with. A tie-in to a popular movie franchise. A game where the main character is a child. And a game where the main character is an animal. 3, 2, 1, go.
Detective Pikachu.
It's based on Teen Titans.
It is not based on any property, no.
Toy Story.
well, I don't know.
Toy Story racing game.
It's not based on any property. You just gave us a big hint.
The theme
Apparently.
is a broad theme. Okay.
Anime.
Oscar
No.
bait.
No.
Final Fantasy.
All right. No one's getting bonus points that round. I just want to let you guys know that
Forever.
last round, by the way, Brandon had a 91 and a 76. So he is getting
Wow.
2 points for that last round. Brandon's not been doing very well looking at you guys. So
90.
This is gonna be
Well,
interesting.
yeah, no
Well,
shit.
We all know that based on his league activity through like 8 days.
oh, poor guy.
Not even 8 days, 6 days.
This is the bonus round. I'm going to tabulate scores really quick.
Give us the damage.
In first place is Nick with 28 points. In second place is Brendan with 20 points. In third place is Chris with 12 points. Brandon is sitting at 16 points.
Vacillation, my lily white fucking ass.
So you got 3 rounds to go. And again, the closest to Brandon gets, how many points did I say?
7.
7 points.
But that doesn't matter. I'm the Portland Trailblazers. There's no point in trying to scrum for the 10 just to shit my draft position away.
All right. We're starting with Bren on this round. 2 minutes to answer. 1 answer per round. So don't save your bangerang game, Nick, for answer 2 because it won't happen. Games featuring an iconic player-controlled vehicle. Again, featuring an iconic player-controlled vehicle.
Games featuring an iconic player-controlled vehicle.
I have my answer.
You want to go first?
No. You have 1 minute left.
What do you mean iconic? Like, okay.
That's the fun of the prompt, guys. It's nebulous. Basically, if it has a name, I'll consider it iconic.
I have an answer, but I'll have to ask a question to make sure that it is actually in the game.
Batman Vengeance.
Batman Vengeance?
Yep.
Great answer. Batmobile is an iconic player-controlled vehicle.
Is the Batmobile in that game?
Batmobile and the Batwing.
I will verify this.
I already verified for it. I played that game a shit ton.
Listen, it's not that I don't believe you. It's just that I will verify this.
Oh, fuck. I just thought, okay.
I think you do the Batwing. I think there's flying ones.
Both of those things are accurate, Brendan. You were not, in fact, lying to me for points.
Or to yourself for points.
Nick, your time starts now.
Is the Mako in Mass Effect Andromeda?
No, it's not. It's like hundreds of years after the original Mass Effect.
I wasn't sure if the Mako was like the name of a craft or if it was the model of the craft, you know, like how there are warthogs in Halo.
It is not. It is not. I will not accept that answer. You have one. That counts as your first answer. You get 1 mulligan.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's totally fine.
I'm not doing your research for you here, Nick.
I know. That's just what I thought of because I know Mass Effect Andromeda was bad and the Mako is an iconic vehicle known for that series. So I had to ask the question. Thank you for being accommodating. I appreciate it, EJ. I'm going to go for, was it Twisted Metal 3? Is it just called Twisted Metal on PS3? The reboot?
Is it? I don't know.
Twisted Metal PS3. I think it's just called Twisted Metal.
Chris, games featuring an iconic player-controlled vehicle.
I'm torn between 2, and it's just a matter of I want a name. I need something with a score. So I'm like, which one of these 2 absolutely horrible fucking games actually is going to have a score for me? Oh my God. I just have to commit.
Well, you're in a good spot because Nick just got a 76. That's generally favorable on Metacritic.
It's okay. I'll get 2 points.
Star Wars: The Clone Wars. It was a pack-in game on the Xbox. It is all vehicle combat featuring.
I remember that.
Yeah, that game is trash.
I should have specified. I apologize for this. Not that it changes your answers at all or how we just played the game, but I'm doing 2 scores instead of 4 for this round because we're doing 3 games instead of 6. Does that make sense?
Oh,
Yeah.
so 2-point getting titles.
Correct.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. I'm going to save all the scores until after we get through these next 2 rounds. All right.
Okay.
All right. Nick, you're going first. Games featuring a character from an anime.
Spoiled for choice. Oh my God.
Yes, you are.
I'm trying to think if there are any that like really stand out as being notably bad. Because otherwise it's just like pick a Naruto game and they probably have a 60, you know?
I wouldn't, poo-poo that line of thought if I were playing this game today. That's all I'm saying.
Specifically anime, or can it be manga as well?
Anime.
Because if I said Shonen Jump, a lot of those characters have animes associated with them, but that's a literal spin-off from Shonen Jump, the magazine.
Is
Jump
it a
Force,
game
excuse
that
me.
features a character from an anime?
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
Then it counts.
Okay. Talk me into it. Jump Force. Let's go.
Okay. Jump Force. Chris,
It has a score.
your time starts now.
Project X Zone features a number
Oh.
of characters from anime.
Brennan, your time starts now.
This is the fucking worst question for me.
But Brendan, you love anime
I
and
play
their games.
so much anime games.
How
I
do
know
you
them
pick?
all.
He's got his finger on the pulse, folks.
Well, I know there's an Attack on Titan game, so I'm just gonna go with that.
Give me a platform, and I'll accept it. Probably.
PC.
If it's not on PC,
Brad.
no fucking go.
It has to be on Steam.
You're so lucky. You just. Oh, bud, that was dangerously close.
Could have said PS4. It was probably on PS4.
Oh man.
Do you know who made that game, Brennan? No. EJ, double check this for me. Was that Omega Force?
I wish Metacritic gave me any fucking information on this page. Omega Force. You were correct. Very good, Bren.
Last one. Let's go. Let's do it.
Last one. And for this, I will not be using Metacritic. I will be using MobyGames.com. I have 51 games, over half of which are scored. Chris, Bren, and then Nick. Chris, games that came in a cereal box. Go. Nick's face right there. There's a lot of processing. There's so many games that came in cereal boxes, and you know, like, a lot of them.
I know one.
We all
I
know
know
the
two.
one.
That's the only one I know.
You'll be shocked when you hear some of these games on this list.
Time check.
47 seconds.
The Magic School Bus. I don't fucking know. This is a stupid fucking question.
I will say this question exists more as a tip-off to what the theme of this week's Critical Hits could be than one designed to necessarily give people points. So bear that in mind. Bren,
I'm in
your time
last place. I don't give a fuck about the theme. I need points.
10 points for guessing the theme, Chris. 10 points for guessing the theme. Brennan, I'm sorry. I'm restarting your timer. What'd you say?
Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch's Crunchling Adventure. I will accept that answer at being the greatest of all the games that came in a cereal box.
I thought the other one was better. That's why I didn't pick it.
Yeah, just give me Chex Quest and let's see what the scores are, EJ.
Chex Quest. All right, just take a little bit of a breather. That is all of the rounds here. I'll come back. I will make sure everything is above board. I will score everything, and then we will guess the theme.
If this literally had been expanded to include comes with like a food item, I would have had like 7 fucking games that all would have been terrible.
I am so sorry. I'll be right back.
I ate off-brand cereal. We were fucking poor. I didn't get any games in my cereal box.
Cereal that comes in a bag can't fit a CD in there.
No,
It's too dangerous.
it can only fit sadness because of poverty.
Brennan, if you took Chex Quest, I would have not just been able to answer, and I would have just have to made something up.
Oh, really?
I was thinking like Lucky's Magical Quest, you know, some character going on a journey, you know. I had nothing.
I didn't pick Chex Quest because I thought it was the best one out of the game.
I think it probably is the best one, but I'd rather get that than an NA.
Say Moby.
That means I'll get 1 point versus Chris's 0.
Moby dot.
I think it's just MobyGames.com maybe. Moby Games is awesome though. It's a really good resource for seeing who worked on games and like what they ended up moving on to other. It's like the IMDb for games.
Brennan looking up his Roadrunner game.
Oh no! Oh, I picked the better of the two. Captain Crunch over
Oh, what was your other answer going to be?
Chex Quest.
Oh, yep. All right. That round, Nick gets 4 points with a 70 for Chex Quest, and Brendan gets 2 points with an 80 for Captain Crunch Adventure.
That's a big difference. Wow.
Thanks, MobyGames.com. I'll give you a 3, 2, 1 here. You want me to read through all the questions again?
No.
3, 2, 1.
Saturday mornings.
TV commercials.
Brennan got it. Saturday morning cartoons. Beautiful. That's a tenner for Bren on the bonus. What did I say? 10?
He takes me for that.
Oh, that's going to feel really bad, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and it will feel bad. I already feel bad.
All right. I'm tabulating quickly.
You didn't go through the bonus round questions.
Chris got first place on Iconic Player Controlled Vehicle with 35 on Clone Wars.
Yeah, that game's terrible.
It's really bad. Bren got Batman Vengeance with a 57. And then in games featuring a character from an anime, Nick got Jump Force with a 56, and Chris got Project X Zone with a 70. Attack on Titan PC had a 74.
Still seems bad.
Middling.
Truly middling.
Actually middling.
Okay, so that means the final scores before we give points for the Ghost. We have Nick with 36, Chris with 18, Brennan with 34, and Brandon with 22. So now, in opposite order, we're giving points out for the overall, getting closest to the overall ghost time.
In arbitrary increments so that Brandon and I can tie.
Yeah, what are you separated by 2 points right now? Then that is a tie.
What did I say? 7, 5, and 3. Brandon has
yeah.
22. The closest to that is Chris. We're gonna give him 7 points. And then Brennan with 5 and Nick with 3. That is fucking hilarious.
And the final scores.
And we won't need a tiebreaker, right, EJ? Unless you make the tie with your 4 tiebreakers that you implemented.
Well, I don't think that's including my bonus points.
Yes, that included your 10 bonus points. Nick beat you pretty handily. But because of the 10 bonus points for guessing, you got 34, and then those bonus points you get 39. And so that is 25 to 39 to 39. Brandon at 22. I did not expect us to have a tie at the end of this. Oh no. I even said that's extremely unlikely. That's extremely unlikely.
Hoisted by your own petard.
What'd you call me?
Jean-Luc Petard.
Since I've already lost, I could use one of the categories that I wrote for the critical hits that I can now no longer do because EJ did the whammy thing first.
Tiebreaker.
So I
Chris.
could give you one of those questions, and that could be the decider right there. How do you feel about
Sure.
that, team?
I love how this is shaping up. Do
Let me
it.
grab my phone so I don't.
This is exactly how I wanted this to end. I thought surely I won't need a fucking... Surely I won't.
All right, to decide who is going first, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Please place your hands behind your back and indicate the number of digits and reveal them on my go. 3, 2, 1, go. It was 7. Nick, you get to pick first. The category is, please give me a game that did not live up to the hype.
Did not live up to the hype.
That is nebulous, and I love it. I would hate to play this
That
round.
is pretty nebulous. EJ, are we doing times? Can I get like a timer going or something?
Timer is going for 2 minutes.
Is it just one game each?
That is correct.
We're probably going to do mulligans because some of these will probably be contested. Like, was Redfall hyped? Could I say Redfall? Did that not live up to the hype?
I would accept Redfall as an answer.
Then I'll give you Redfall.
Okay.
Brendan, your time starts now.
I mean, was Lord of the Rings Gollum hyped? People were pretty hyped for that.
No, absolutely
People
not.
were
People were
hyped
hyped-
to dunk on
People
it.
were hyped for that before
The answer
before
is no.
gameplay came out.
No, they were not. No, buddy, no. No.
Saturday morning cartoon edition. He even had the name of the document.
I don't think I can think of anything that's worse than Redfall. That was hyped up.
I think you can. You've got 35 seconds.
It's okay, EJ. I thought of the same thing.
I believe.
I give up.
You're going out like that? Oh, Brandon, no. You're going out like that?
I don't know what else to do.
Okay.
Like, what would you have said?
Day before.
Oh,
That's what EJ thought of.
Yeah, dude.
And as soon as he said something, I had thought of it already too. But my first thought was Avengers.
The most wishlisted game on Steam of all time.
yeah. You're right.
Has an open critic score, but I don't know if does it have a Metacritic score though.
I don't know. Brendan, you fought valiantly today. You did very well.
Redfall lowest available score on Metacritic is the PC score, which is a 53. The day before obviously would have beaten that. My first thought was actually Sports Story because of what an overnight success golf story was, which would which was a 54, which you would have lost by the thinnest of margins with the Sports Story bit. Marvel's Avengers, the lowest available score is Xbox One. It's a 66. It still would have gotten you the win, but it would have been potentially a good score.
I mean, I was just trying to think of things that were going to be worse than Redfall, and there's not very many things.
Yeah, that's true. You know, that Those critical hits, fellas. You see why I like being the player and not the arbiter. I got to tell you, this is a lot of work. I'm afraid that I've scored something wrong and put something in the wrong column and tabulated the totals incorrectly. I will insert clip if it turns out we have a different winner. I don't think that'll be the case. I think I have it right. I'm sorry to say, Nick, your win on last week's edition of Critical Hits, Whammy Week, must be rescinded. And that is because I messed up on the spreadsheets, and this is why we check each other's work, okay? Not all of us are spreadsheet wizards like yourself, and as much as you tried to help me by sending me a fucking sheet with formulas, I was an obstinate bastard, and I did it myself, and I fucked up. But one column, guys, which awarded Nick an additional 3 points. Points that should have gone to Chris, mind you. So Chris should have finished with 28 points, I believe. Nick should have finished with 36 points. And Brendan is our winner with 39. But as Nick said in the chat, everybody beat Brandon, so we're all winners. Do you guys want to hear Brandon's games, though, since I feel bad that we didn't get to it last week?
Please.
Yes, do it.
So badly.
Okay. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on some of these. Some of them are really good, some of them not so much. So a game where your player can only speak gibberish, he gave me, after some serious waffling, he gave me Pikmin 2 and Animal Crossing New Leaf.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Happy Home Designer was right there. He even initially said to me, Animal Crossing, and I said, which one? He says, I can't think of a bad one. And I said, are you sure you can't think of a bad one?
What about the party game on Wii U?
Thank you. Even worse. I had forgotten about that. As a part of Nintendo's history, I've blocked out. So that was a 90 and 88, respectively. And I was like, uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh my God. Do you want to know what Amiibo Festival reviewed?
53?
It's a 46.
Wow.
Yeah, that's bad. That's really bad.
Holy shit, dude. I mean, Happy Home Designer's a 66, but man, Amiibo Festival. Ooh.
To be fair, Brandon was just coming down with COVID or the flu or some such thing. So his mind clearly wasn't working properly. For a game featuring a character with superpowers, he beat all of you with Thor God of Thunder.
Whoa.
Which had a 38 aggregate, and Green Lantern Rise of the Manhunters, which surprisingly reviewed at a 59.
Brutal.
Pretty decent.
Was that Green Lantern, was that related to the Ryan Reynolds movie, or was that a Cartoon Network related movie? Like, I'm not familiar with any of the Green Lantern video games, but
Oh, it was Ryan Reynolds, all right.
Oh boy.
Yeah. A beautiful tie-in. A game where you collect party members to battle with. He gave me Final Fantasy 2, which had a 63 aggregate, and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which was lower than I thought at 73.
Yeah, low 70s.
So he got, it looks like third place for his Final Fantasy 2. A tie-in to a popular movie franchise. This is where he gave me Skull Island Rise of Kong, which we later DQ'd. Sorry, Brandon, you didn't get a mulligan on that. But he also gave me Pacific Rim, which got him first place with a 39. Because
holy shit.
Who pulls Pacific Rim? Oh, yeah, that game. Okay. A game where the main character is a child. Here's where I thought everyone was going to get the theme. Because y'all answered Rugrats Go to Paris, Wild Thornberrys, Dexter's Lab, Incredibles, Yu Yu Hockey Show, Spy Kid. I was like, oh, here we are. He answered me Gotcha Force for a 56.
Nice.
Oh,
the opposite of a heart pick.
Listen, man, Gotcha Force fucks. I can't believe it reviewed that poorly. And he also gave me Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Duel Academy, which got a 67. That was good for second and fourth place.
Yeah, I just literally could not think of a single Yu-Gi-Oh! Game.
There's so many of them.
And they all have 17 different words after the Yu-Gi-Oh! That I wasn't going to try and pull a Brennan and have you just Google search. Pick me a Yu-Gi-Oh! Game on Game Boy Advance. There's one of the 17.
I wonder what Eternal Duelist Souls Metacritic is.
You're allowed to look that
Probably
up now.
71.
A game where the main character is an animal. He gave me Crash Warped, thinking that was the bad one.
Oh my God, dude.
Sorry, Brandon, that was the best one. That's 91. And then he said Spyro 2, and I said, Brandon. He said, Spyro 2, and I said, Brandon, do you mean Spyro 2 Season of the Flame on Game Boy Advance? And he said, oh, yeah, that one. So I gave him that one, which was a 76. He totally meant Season of the Flame, guys.
Eternal Duelist Soul has an 81.
Nice. A good anime game?
Like I knew I knew it was a banger in my heart and I've been playing it on and off since I got my analog, but man, certified banger.
Games based on animes featuring card battling, secret to success.
An 80 for an anime game might as well be Hall of Fame territory. For the bonus round, games featuring an iconic player-controlled vehicle, he said Gundam Versus, which got a 68.
Good answer.
And I told Nick off air last week, Chris, that this all came to me. Two things. One is this came to me watching YouTube or something on the couch Saturday morning. Bob had mentioned something about that Jackie Chan spin-off cartoon.
Jackie Chan
Great show.
Adventures! Bad day.
So that got like in my brain, and I was like, let's do this. So that was what inspired the movie tie-in question and kicked this whole thing off. But then player-controlled vehicle, iconic, I was thinking Mystery Machine, Scooby-Doo, etc. But I was like, that could be Batmobile, which Brendan got. That, and then Gundam Versus, I'm like, that's a great fucking answer. Pretty broad. Games featuring a character from an anime. He answered Yu Yu Hakusho Dark Tournament with a 56.
That's the one I couldn't think of the name of.
Brandon got to it first. And then, of course, games that came in a cereal box. Brandon also answered Captain Crunch's Crunchling Adventure. Crunching Adventure?
Literally the best in the genre.
Doesn't get any better than that. Except, as we found out, browsing MobyGames.com, games that came in a cereal box, of which there were about 50 catalog, 50 plus. Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 and 2 came in cereal boxes?
As like a promotional thing or something.
Yeah, very
demos.
interesting.
Because I remember demos hitting and was like, surely I can come up with one of them. And absolutely, I could even see some of the boxes and the designs was like no fucking clue what was on the CD. If you had just broadened that to include food, I had Sneak King ready to go. Ready to go.
Yeah, except Sneaking is a good game, so that would have done poorly for you.
Well, it's better than an NA because I had nothing for
The
that
Magic
fucking
School
question.
Bus.
Yeah, I was like, here you go.
Brandon, thank you for being our ghost. That was fun. I enjoyed texting with you. I hope you're feeling better, buddy. Brennan, congratulations. You win. I know the tiebreaker shouldn't have happened, but on principle, I feel like you shouldn't win for just driving a complete goose egg at the most important moment. Nick, I'm sorry, man. I fucked up. I sent you to bed a winner, and you woke up a goddamn loser, and that there's nothing worse.
Well, considering I was the one checking your work,
Yeah, right. You could have just kept that to
I gave
yourself.
myself the L.
Yeah.
That's a real power move right there. Only I can give me the L.
Yeah.
I love that.
I can't trust EJ to do it.
That's a little bit of fun. The trivia always, the energy comes down because there's so much time between the answers, and then people are competitive, and here we are. So that's Critical Hits, and this has been the Console Crusade podcast. I'm going to pitch once again solo.to/Console Crusade. Join the Discord, email us, find us on the socials, including YouTube if you're a YouTube kind of person.